No, literally, that's what you should do is clip that. It's alive. And as soon as YouTube says you're live, play that and
There you
start your
go.
streams like that.
Yeah, I don't have the sound effect for it.
Oh, looks
But
like Nadine just turned
there,
her stuff off a little while ago.
yep. Okay, we're connected. We're on YouTube now.
Oh yeah.
Hello.
There we are. Okay. Hey, Tria. Hi. Hi, Michelle. Yay. Yeah, 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 yeah,
There we
yeah.
go. Oh. Oh, TV Tube. Hi.
Hello.
Actually, haven't seen you around in a while.
Where
Of
did I
course.
just see you, TV Tube?
Yeah.
In the last day or two.
Well, I haven't been on as much the last 2 weeks. I've had trying to catch up on too much between trips. And now I have a kitty with abandonment issues.
Hmm.
Take a crap on your head.
Oh, no,
You ran away
nothing like
from
that. He
me.
just basically he feels he has to be in constant physical contact now for the last 2 days.
Uh-huh. Oh, look, it's
Which
Bub.
is generally not a problem. It's just a matter of when I have to wake him up because I need to get up for something.
And he's holding on for dear life.
Yeah, well, remember, he's got that problem that he can't fully retract his front claws.
Mm-hmm.
So even when he's asleep, the claws are, out a fraction of an inch. So
So,
if I try to stand up without waking him, they wind up going into my leg.
Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, he does not realize how easily I puncture.
so somebody mentioned that rhymes with orange. So I looked it up, and their strip from yesterday. It's two witches in a mechanics garage. They got a broomstick on risers, and the witch is underneath it, and she's saying these stick shifts are more complicated than they look.
Okay. And then look, it's Terry. Hi.
Yep, and Bub.
It's been a while since I've seen you, Terry.
Well, Terry's been doing a lot of his own streams lately,
Yeah.
although usually not running them at hours that I've been able to get in there. Oh. So, Bub, if you're not in the middle of something, we still got a couple of spaces open if you want to come in. So, did anybody do anything interesting for Halloween?
Hell
Nope.
no.
I slept.
Yeah, I was asleep all day.
I haven't done anything really interesting for Halloween since 2004 when I lived with my parents. And we did the whole scare the neighborhood kids thing. What about
Yeah,
you?
unfortunately, people really don't give much candy to you after you're 30, so.
Yeah. Gotta buy. Well, at 30, you
Yeah,
can buy your
that's
own.
Well, yeah, but then it's not free candy.
True.
And the free candy tastes much better than the
Yep.
stuff that you go out and buy.
Although that's part of why I'm going out tomorrow.
Half price
Well,
candy day.
it's just cheap
Yep,
stuff. Mm-hmm.
yep. Just in time, too. I'm down to 2 chocolate Easter bunnies, so I timed it just right.
All right.
Well, the summer is a long, dry season with no candy holidays.
Right, right.
We
And they
need to
should
do something about that. They need to have some kind of candy day in August.
candy
Hmm.
flags for Independence Day. No.
Hey, Jenny.
Hey ho.
Hey, Jen.
Oh, look who's here.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi Diana. Hi
Cosette petrala con
Doc.
la carapatia tai che adesso deve
Hi
rosta.
Kitty. Hi
You
Perp.
know,
Meow, meow, meow.
Is anybody watching tonight?
Hey, Smitty.
Supposedly we have 9 watching. Now
Oh
that
really?
Yeah.
five of them are in the chat here, but
Tootsie Rolls
Well,
aren't all that bad.
but we got a bunch of people in the side chat there.
at the
So,
gym they have buckets full of those 3 millimeter Tootsie Roll things, those bite-sized guys. You could easily consume all the calories you burned off on the exercise cycle just on those Tootsie Rolls.
Hmm.
yeah.
It's like there's two things in life that don't make sense to me: gyms that supply candy and gas stations that sell beer.
Yeah, okay.
Well, in this town, any business that doesn't sell alcohol doesn't last.
Oof.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4,
Although, you can always combine the
5,
two. Have you tried Drunky Bears?
Drunky
6.
bears.
Yeah.
I can imagine what those are.
Well, I've got a
What is
container in my fridge of gummy bears that have been soaking in vodka for a week.
that's
Uh,
I had it. I had it. Okay.
how are they,
In,
Smitty? Were they good?
I am in a town of 900 people and there are 7 places that sell alcohol.
Mm.
Okay.
that's like a little over a half mile width of the whole town.
Yeah. Well, we don't have
Damn.
any place that just sells alcohol, but every place sells alcohol. And, you know, Pirate Kitty was saying about gas stations that sell beer.
Well,
You
yeah.
know,
I
like,
mean, the reason why it seems weird to me is you most people drive to the gas station.
yeah,
You're not allowed to drink and drive.
yeah,
So why would you?
I get what you're saying, but it's not limited to just beer here. You
Yeah,
can
we know
pull
we've
into the
had
gas
this.
station and you can buy bottles of whiskey.
Okay.
Well, why not? What's the difference? It's just
Well,
He
here in
concentration.
says beer is one
Pennsylvania,
of the
they
main
still
things
have.
gas stations are for.
Okay. Yeah, here in Pennsylvania, we still have the state-run establishments.
Oh, paper bag stores?
Yeah, I
Down
think
here,
I
they're
know the one
called
you're talking about.
container stores, and I'm just like, okay, when you say container, I'm not thinking alcohol. I'm thinking like Tupperware.
Yep.
I'm thinking like the atmosphere because we're in a closed container. If there's going to be gas pressure and sorry,
I
sorry.
get it, Smitty. It's mostly just a joke with me.
Yep.
Oh
In
man, I'll tell
Texas,
you, I was.
it used to be legal to drink while you drive. I don't know what's current state of that law, but I know it used to be that you could drink and drive as long as you weren't drunk.
No, really.
Yep.
What I don't under what always irritates me is open container laws. Like my boyfriend and I always go out, right? Like if we're going to the store, he's driving, I'm passenger. If I buy myself a beer, why can't I drink the beer as the passenger? I'm not driving. You can alcohol test him, and you'll see he's not drinking. So what's the big deal? Why you got to ticket me for it
The law
or
is
tick
the
him?
law.
You're not supposed to have an open container in public and
Well,
all that
I,
Well,
other
no,
I
stuff.
think
You,
the,
you know, if you have a bottle of whiskey and you open it and you have it in there, even though it's got the lid back on and it's in the back seat on the floor,
hmm
you can still get a ticket.
Yep.
yep.
Yeah.
You got to lock it in the trunk.
Yeah, that's a problem when you have a hatchback and you don't have a trunk.
Well, yeah, I don't have a trunk either. But if it's all the way in the back, I guess that they could, like, I don't know, maybe that's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe you have to have a portable liquor locker or something. I don't know. But I'm trying to remember if I have this correctly. I was told some years ago that at the time, maybe still, in Ohio, if you slept in the back seat of your car, you could conceivably get ticketed. Somehow
For what?
in conjunction with the alcohol laws, where they decide that you were sleeping it off or some shit like that.
I understand that in some states, the deciding factor is if the keys are in the ignition, regardless of whether or not the car is running.
Hey, Tria.
Hi,
Well,
Tria.
Hello.
and they
I
Hmm?
try.
Can you hear
they
her,
have
Jen?
to do a lot of those just because they don't want
Wait.
people to be getting around things by
Jen,
basically just screwing the cap on and putting the bottle down when they see the flashing lights.
Jen, can you hear Tria?
Oh,
Tria say something?
Hello.
nope.
Yep.
Try
You
to.
didn't hear her say hello?
Nope, I
I
did not.
absolutely did not hear Tria say hello, and she's
Oh.
probably. I'm
No,
probably
I
not
heard
going
Tria
to hear
fine.
her.
I
Yeah,
heard you.
I'm probably not going to hear her ask if I can hear her. Right? Uh,
Jen, you're
Oh,
probably gonna have to come out and come back in again. Oh, wait.
We're
well,
going to
Jen.
try the backstage thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, let
try
me pop you
backstage.
backstage for a moment and we'll see.
what's for dinner?
Squash. It doesn't
Yum.
look pretty, but
The hell, what it looks
squash.
like. It's yummy.
Yeah,
Nope,
I
no change.
did
Oh,
I
And the volume I do hear her at is identical to when I was backstage.
Okay.
okay.
So I'm going to leave and come back.
Okie dokie.
but yeah, apparently the family's mad I took the last of it.
Did you cook it?
Yes.
Never mind. Cook's prerogative at that point.
Yeah, there you
Mhm.
go.
It's not like I'm not making them squash soup tomorrow, like jeez. I told my little sister to bring home yellow squash and zucchini. I had all of the other kinds of squash. I didn't need more. We were good. I had bought a kabocha squash. I don't know how it's pronounced, but it's a Japanese pumpkin essentially. And I bought like acorn squash and butternut squash. And I was going to be good with that because squash is hard to deal with. You have to peel it and you have to cut it and all that fun stuff. And I was like, I'm doing this once. My sister goes with a friend to the fruit market, and that's like part of one of her chores is to like budget out how much money she has and like bring back food. And I wound up with 4 butternut squash, acorn squash, and more zucchini and yellow squash than I know what to do with.
Oh
And I
my.
kind of want to kill the friend because I know the friend is the one who encouraged her to bring all of that shit home.
Slice it up. Prep it like you're gonna cook it. Portion it out and pop it in the freezer.
Can't.
Mm.
No room in freezer.
Oh poo.
Doc and Purple say something.
Something.
Two somethings.
I can hear everybody.
Okay.
Okay.
Groovy.
It sucks that you have to do that, Jenny.
That is weird, but Diana couldn't hear you either.
Yeah. Well,
No, I
StreamYard.
think Diana was joking.
I was being a pain in the arse. Yes.
Don't make me
Not.
come there and stab you with a fork.
oh boy.
Yeah, it does seem to be that the StreamYard's not so good on the mobile apps. It seems anyone using a mobile device winds up having trouble.
That's
Butternut
weird.
squash is wonderful TV tube me.
yes. It is many much yum 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 yum
Cut
yum.
them in
I
I'm
love
half.
not.
acorn
Scoop up.
squash. I don't much care for any other kind.
Cut them in half.
I'm not a.
Dig out the seeds. Put them face down on a cookie sheet and bake them until they're done.
Yep.
Then you can stick a thing in and it's soft.
The nice
And
thing
just
is,
load them up with brown sugar and
And butter.
yep.
butter
Yep.
and
They do that. My
ooh.
dad's the only person in my family who likes them, and that's exactly how he likes it. And we do
Yep.
that on Thanksgiving. The only squash I can handle is zucchini. I think, unless there's other things that are squash that I don't know that.
Yep.
Acorn squash you kind of do the same way, and they kind of taste the
Yeah.
same.
Yep.
Acorn squash. In fact, my dad was like asking me to put this on the menu a little bit more often because he is not allowed to have a lot of sweets anymore. And the diabetic sugar-free stuff like doesn't taste good to him.
Hmm.
So I just roasted these and I caramelized some onions and I added some red bell pepper and some parsnips to make it sweet. And he was just like, this is like a freaking dessert. Make me this more often. So he was really happy with it.
Oh my! Thank you for reminding me. I got to call my friend and see what she's come up with from the local meat
TV
shop
Tube me
for
is saying
Thanksgiving.
butternut squash doesn't taste like butter or nuts. Discuss. And well, in either case, it's still a more acceptable pizza topping than pineapple.
No. No, wait, isn't eggplant a squash too?
Squash doesn't go on
I
pizza.
didn't think so, but I'll look it up. Let's see here.
No, everybody always fighting about pineapple on pizza.
Yep.
I'll take pineapple over anchovy any day.
See, anchovies. People when they do anchovy on pizza, they make a mistake. They think they're supposed to put on, like one anchovy per slice or something like that. Anchovies are not meant to be an edible thing like you're eating and a fish. They're highly salted and they're
Hmm.
meant as a flavoring. They're supposed to like go into a sauce and become part of the sauce, not to be a chunk of anchovy to eat.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Okay, now I
And
could
when
see
you
that making a lot more
and
sense
when
if
you
you were
do
just blending
when
them
you
into
use
the
them that way,
sauce.
they're marvelous.
Yeah.
Hi, Tony.
Oh, how do you like that?
What?
Aubergines are related to tomatoes. They are in the nightshade family.
Yeah, Tony Design was just saying that.
Okay.
Eggplant is a nightshade.
Yeah, but if anybody wants to hoof it over to my house tomorrow, I'm doing like coconut, acorn squash, butternut squash, onions, a little bit of garlic, a bunch of curry powder, and I have the good curry powder. I went to the Mediterranean store and got the fresh shit.
I need to have actual curry someday. The 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 extent of my exposure to curry is the smell of people who eat it too much
Ah,
or eat a lot of it
Yeah.
and then they don't understand personal space.
Mm.
Well, you've just defined India right there. I mean, with
Well,
well
I
over
was
a billion
trying
people.
I was trying not to nationally name the majority of shoppers at my store. But yes, that's exactly what I was saying. Is the
Yeah.
Indian folk that shop at my store, and like everybody's always like curry's so good, curry's so good. I'm like, I need to find somebody who does it well or a place that does it well for my first try. I'd hate to try something and have it done not good,
yeah.
and then
Oh,
you know
I'm sorry.
butternut curry with coconut sauce. Is that what you were responding to?
You have to invite Tony to eat. Try.
Yeah, I can't do much spicy food, so.
Yeah, no, I don't do it too spicy, but the thing is that you can do curry and you don't have to make it like hot, but you can make it like pack a punch with like the spices if you do it right.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of places realize that not everybody can go as hot as they're used to. So a lot of places around here will tell you as part of your order whether or not you want it like no heat, mild heat, regular heat, or like go
Or
home
on raw
crying to your
heat.
or yeah, or home crying to your mama because it's kicking your ass heat.
I
I made
hate
the
heat.
mistake. I made that mistake. Um, so Zaxby's does not exist in California. So I grew up in California in a Hispanic neighborhood, eating Spanish food, which is fairly spicy. So you go to places like Burger King and they're like the spicy burger, and I'm like, this isn't spicy. It's not even spicy. I go to Zaxby's the first time I'm down here in the South, and they're like, well, what flavor do you want the wings? And they've got like this really long range, and I picked the top one because I'm thinking typical, you know, this is spicy food for people who don't eat spicy food all the time.
Oh, did
And
they
that actually,
surprise you?
it did surprise me. I was able to eat it, but instead of being able to inhale it, I literally had to like eat one wing and then wait for my mouth to calm down, eat some celery, some blue cheese, and then go for the next one. So everybody else was done eating, and I'm still sitting on my third wing.
Okay, then. I've got to really pound on my budget, one way or another. I've got to work out a way to get to Dallas in
April,
April. Yeah, and tag along with Aaron to a
hot and spicy thing.
hot and spicy wing place. Yeah,
I'd love to do that. It would probably kill me though.
I
Yeah, my
used to
system just doesn't handle it well if it's too spicy.
I used to could do that stuff. I don't know if I can anymore. I mean, I used to eat the I used to take a bite out of an habanero. Um, this was when I was what, maybe in my late 30s, maybe 40. That was a while ago.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I can still do that or not.
Well,
All you people who eat hot food are sick.
yeah.
You're just
Yep.
sick. You're all ill.
Well,
You should be
people don't seem
committed.
to get the point that the reason these plants are so spicy is because they have been spending the last 2 million years attempting to be toxic.
Yes.
That is, yeah.
And they've done a
And
very
then
good job of it.
leave it to the crazy humans to say, I like that shit.
Yeah, when you think about it, that is. It's like I'm trying to not be edible, but by trying to not be edible, I've become a delicacy.
Yep.
Isn't it
Yeah.
amazing though the way you get the stuff with the capsaicins, with the mercaptans, the sulfhydryls,
Hmm.
all the other stuff like that. That's the hot and the spicy. And we humans lap that shit up. The onions, the garlic, the peppers. God knows what else is in there.
My
Um,
socks.
okay.
Oh.
So
No,
Halloween stories. Anybody got any?
Nah.
I'm sad. Only 3 kids showed up tonight.
Yeah.
I'm happy not one single little brat showed up tonight.
Oh, I used
Well,
to. My house used to be the favorite house in the neighborhood because we gave out the good candy. We were in a poor neighborhood. When we trick or treated, we went to the rich neighborhood and got the good candy. Once we were not old enough to trick or treat anymore. And you guys aren't here in the background for me, are you?
no, you're fine.
Okay, just want to make sure. Um, we became like the best worst house because the effort we put. One year we took my brother's clothes, we sewed it together and stuffed it with um, hay and newspaper and all that. And then there were 2 dummies laying in the yard. The kids had to decide which one they wanted to go to get to the door. One of them wasn't a dummy.
Okay.
So one of them was my brother on the floor. One year, we took a fishing pole and one of those big fake spiders, and I climbed up onto the roof with the fishing pole and the fake spider. And the person giving out the candy was like, just delay them a little bit. Keep them at the door as I reeled the spider down next to them. So that just after they got their candy in their bag, I would tap them on the shoulder with the spider. And they'd scream and run away with a bag full of candy.
Horrible person, you
But
icky.
now I live in apartment complexes and nobody trick or treats here.
Yeah, same. I'm in a block of flats, and
Well, if they ran away with the bag of candy, you failed. The idea is you get them to drop the candy before they run.
Uh,
yeah, around here they have the trick or treat, whatever it is, at the community center for the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And it's. I mean, I've never been to one of these things, but I've seen pictures and I've heard descriptions, and it just somehow isn't the same as the stuff I did when I was a kid. Well, I don't know that you can even do that shit anymore, with any degree of safety.
Yeah, you really can't anymore.
I hate to say things like that, but it's working out that way.
but is it
Yeah, I'm
really?
pretty sure my entire neighborhood went to the church that's across the street.
Yeah, I actually kind of forgot about it when I ran over to the grocery store this evening that, they were doing trick-or-treating just in the store, that the kids were, going to the different departments. Because,
Yeah, they were doing that when I went grocery shopping today.
yeah.
But I mean, this all falls back to that stream that I had for you about news and perception. Is it really, really, really that dangerous to go trick or treating? And I would wager that it's probably not as bad as people think it is.
It
Well,
depends on which part of town you're in, to be
Yeah.
honest. As far as like where I live, my neighborhood's fairly safe, but there are neighborhoods where I would not take my kids trick or treating. I
Yeah.
would.
At high noon.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Well,
it
and that's kind of
depends.
the thing that, yeah, the risk probably isn't as great as most people think it is, but what's an acceptable risk level for kids? And, when I was a kid, we didn't have adults going with us, but that was, back in the 70s.
We didn't have any either, and that was back in the 50s and 60s.
Yep.
Well, I trick or
And it
treated.
was at night in the dark.
Yep. And then the other thing is, back when I was trick or treating as a kid in the '60s, there were people who would give out walnuts and other loose things that were not sealed, factory sealed, anything like that, which
Mm-hmm.
you just can't do anymore.
Mm-hmm. No
I
homemade
used to-
stuff.
there was the one house. I think this was the first year that the Great Pumpkin cartoon made its appearance. The Charlie Brown thing.
Charlie Brown. Yeah.
The lady at this house had bought a shitload of walnuts, and with a marker had drawn jack-o'-lantern faces on every one of these walnuts, and labeled Great Pumpkin on the other side, and handed these damn things out. All the work she put into that, and if somebody were to try to do that now, it just got thrown away.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I love the
Right.
articles that are going around about, oh no, beware about people putting edibles. And damn near every person that I know of that uses edibles is like, fuck that. Like, I would spend that much on a child.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing I thought.
Well,
that's
that's
like
what I
every-
always. And you've got stories like that going back to the 70s of people supposedly putting LSD in the candies and that, and it's like, no, you know how expensive that shit is? They're not going to be giving that away for free.
Oh, it was only like $2 a hit. Oops, I'm sorry.
Yeah, letting us in on your dark secrets there, huh?
Well, that was back in the 70s. It was a different time.
Now,
Cheap.
was that the street price, or was that what they were paying you to manufacture it?
No, I didn't manufacture. But the actual street price was anywhere from $2 to $10 a hit.
10. What the hell were you getting for $10?
For $10, you were getting some fine 4-way window pane. Oh baby, oh baby, oh man, that was intense shit. That was really something. Oh man,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I would like to do it
Aside
again.
from just smoking weed, I've never had any hallucinogenics.
Yeah, you don't want to go taking a bunch of acid if you don't really have to. It's I mean I'm not acid. It's an unfucking believable drug. You're taking a dose of 200 to 300 micrograms. It is metabolized and out of your system within 20 minutes. The next 12 hours are just the effect.
A chain reaction in your brain.
Oh yeah, yeah. It takes those little synapses and just fucks them all to hell. It's really a gas. um, it people don't. Well, yes, there are cases of people being unmasked, um, which is a term given to somebody who has some underlying um, pathology,
Problems? Yeah.
and the acid will uncover it,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
but it doesn't create an issue in somebody who doesn't already have something going on. Um, it
Like Sid
is it
Barrett.
is it is so intense that even back in those days, it was strongly recommended that if you were inexperienced, especially, you would have somebody who was called a trip sitter, who
Yes.
was somebody who was perfectly straight,
Yep.
understood the drug, understood crisis intervention, talk downs, and medical issues, who would basically be there at the party to make sure everybody is okay. And most of the time, everybody was okay, and the trip sitter just got to drink beer for free. It and I would not encourage a kid ever to take it, ever a kid to take it, um, especially under 25 with developmental issues and stuff that could be. But for an adult who is curious under the right circumstance, just be prepared for the fucking ride of your life. There is nothing that you will ever experience that was like it or will be like it. You see Hollywood and stuff try to simulate an acid trip and stuff like that, and every one of them completely fails. Let me give you an example. We all know what a wooden floor looks like in a house. You got the slats of wood, and it's got the wood grain. Typically oak or a maple or something like that, and the grain is fairly prominent. Okay, now take a look at that floor, and you don't see anything around it. All your focus is just completely on the floor, and you're looking at the wood grain and the straightness of the various floorboards and their seams and joints, and then you begin to see the grain move, not unlike the kind of movement you would see in the aurora borealis. Kind of a swirling or a movement of this object, of this grain of wood. And then you see another image of that same grain moving. This first set you see is moving like lengthwise along the board, and then the next one, the grain is moving side to side, and then you see another one that is like diagonal one direction and then diagonal the other direction. And so suddenly you have like 4 or 5 layers of grain that you are visualizing all at once, moving in these different dimensions, and you can perceive that each grain has its own level, and the depth of the board goes down and down forever into the abyss of the canyon, and it tastes like mushrooms. Okay.
The floor tastes like mushrooms. Yes.
That's right. That's right. Um, and then you go to lay down on the floor, and your head is on its side, and so your eye is close to the floor. And there's a telephone book about 2 to 3 inches away from your face, and you're near the corner of the telephone book, and you look at the telephone book, and you suddenly realize that this phone book is at least 8 to 10 stories tall, and it tastes like lemons. Okay.
I love the synesthesia. Yeah, it's you're tasting green or
Mhm.
what is it now? Lemons have a really wonderful sound. Shit like that.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
synesthesia is a real human phenomenon. People actually
Yes, it is.
experience
Yes.
that.
Yes.
Um, and so the acid is just kind of like turning that switch on. Now, what's incredible about acid is that once you've done it, you can make it happen anytime you want from there on. I can sit and I can look at that floor again today. And if I concentrate and I let myself go with it, I can kind of visualize, not with the intensity and clarity of that first time, but I can still feel that. I can look at a wall and I can imagine it breathing. And after a while, I can see it breathing.
It's
Okay.
okay.
And that's
Yeah,
why they
it's
say,
okay.
that's what they mean when they say acid changes you.
Hmm.
It does change you. Because the brain is able to complete unfinished tasks. It's one of the brain's favorite activities, and so you can turn that circuit on and experience that again. Now they call it things flashbacks. Okay, well the flashback is where somebody again is been unmasked, and the flashback is something that somebody who was on the edge back then is still on the edge now, and they get unmasked and they go psychotic and we have
Yeah.
hallucinations and stuff, and it's a similar experience, but it's not something that everybody experiences or most people have ever experienced. I've never had a flashback. um, I've only done acid about, I think, 12, 13, 14 times maybe, and I know people
That's
who are
enough.
my age who to this day still do it once or twice a month, and they're
You
perfectly
know,
sane.
one buddy of mine was I'm trying to think about 28 or so, and he had several hundred times he had tripped. Um, I think starting maybe when he was in his late teens. Of course, he was he had problems. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
So is acid a bad thing? Well, yeah, for some people, like any drug, it could be a bad thing. Is it evil and bad and should be
Well,
people be
vodka could
thrown
be
in
a
jail
bad
for
thing as
for a
far as
lifetime
that
because they have
goes.
it? No.
No. And worse than that is I don't know if they still do it. I think they might. It's not so bad that you include the weight of the paper in the mass of the blood or acid that you're charged with having.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah,
one
you're
of my
right.
friends shared a couple Halloween memes. Says people get mad at teenagers trick or treating when the real freeloaders are the parents with infants. Karen, I know damn well that infant of yours can't eat milk duds. Purple, how do you feel about racy
About what?
pictures? Not too bad.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay.
I mean, we just had a extended discussion about acid, so I'm sure that would have cleared any
Well,
chance of
For
anything being
those
monetized anyway. But
for those
Well,
that were paying attention, that was Hufflepuff in the background, and she did. I did tell her the camera was on, so
yeah, I noticed that. I wasn't going to bring anyone else's attention to it.
Oh, I've had my eyes closed for the last 10 minutes, so
Oh yeah, cyanide and
just
happiness.
busy
Uh,
remembering.
but I can't really read the
So, so,
text.
so don't
It
think I'm
says
some kind of like brain damage freak because I've done acid, because it really doesn't do that
it says, "Hey, check
to
out
you.
my butt." The guy says, "Okay," and it says, "Happy Halloween," and then it says, "You misspelled hollow."
Yes, for the ass cheeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
Like, I wonder how many people actually think hanging around us that they'll ever get monetized. Like, seriously.
I have
Well,
absolutely no designs upon
Yeah.
being monetized. Okay.
Well, I'm sure it would never happen because I'm sure long before I get enough subscribers, YouTube will have changed the rules 3 or 4 more times.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
but yeah, like but that's the thing. Like before you're monetized is the time to do all of the bad stuff, you know, and just let loose, and then people like you, and then they get used to you, and then you get monetized, and you become like sterilized and clean.
Yeah,
But
and then
no,
people
That won't
stop
work for
watching.
my channel. That won't work for my channel.
yeah. Well, that's one of those things that I've always felt that YouTube being a career was actually one of the was actually
Hello.
sorry, I was in a Discord and chat, forgot, and somebody popped in and started just saying my name repeatedly.
Oh,
um, no, and no shade on people who do YouTube as a career, but I sometimes think that YouTube as a career was actually one of the worst things to happen
Why?
because people stopped making videos about, well, some people stopped making videos about what they cared about and what was fun and what they wanted to do, and started trying to make their videos so that they could make money.
Yep.
yeah.
So
Well, but
like I,
that doesn't change the opportunity to still do it the other way.
well, that's true, but like there's this one YouTube channel that I used to watch. I can't remember the name of it anymore, but it was hosted by this guy named Nick, and he was a foul mouthed. He was a drama channel, you know. And what was fun about it is like he would just talk and he would just do his thing, and then he got monetized, and he had to keep cleaning himself up to the point where he wasn't cussing anymore because he didn't want to be demonetized. And I'm just like, but part of what made your channel great and interesting was the fact that you didn't have any trouble, just speaking your mind and saying what you wanted to say, how you wanted to say it.
Mm-hmm. And then you'll get pulled for speaking against hate speech or something like that because you're accused of engaging in it. Um, like Skylar Fiction's had that happen to him, and I'm trying to think of some of the other people who have actually lost their channels over being mistaken for the bad guy. You know.
Yeah, because the
There we are.
AIs aren't smart enough.
Sorry,
Sorry, kitty.
no, that was my fault. I hit the wrong button. I went to mute. I hit start cam and it out because I,
Yeah.
I have a Halloween story.
Okay.
Um, my mommy used to make our Halloween costumes. She was a good sewer, and she made me a ghost costume out of bed sheets, and a pillowcase for my head, and like eye holes and stuff. And they were all very nicely hemmed around the edges of the holes, so there wasn't any fraying or little threads getting in your eyes or anything. She really was quite good at that stuff. I can't remember how old I was. I was living in West Dallas, Wisconsin, a suburb of Milwaukee. And in these days, all the streets of West Dallas, and many, many, many in Milwaukee as well. The tree of choice was the Dutch elm. And if you're familiar with elms,
Oh yeah.
many
Yep.
aren't because they are just not found anymore because of Dutch elm disease.
Yeah.
They grow beautifully straight, and their branches go up. And when you have them on either side of the street, their branches will eventually
Yep.
cross and create this Gothic shaped arch that's 50 feet in the air. They easily block out street lights and stars and
Yeah.
everything else too.
Well, where I
But
grew up was
it
like
makes
that.
for it makes for the most wonderful, spooky feeling Halloween, especially when you're out there at night trick or treating with your bag, and you're going to that house over there that we're pretty sure a witch lives there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I've seen some.
so who's going to knock on the door first?
Sorry.
But it was just that's really it of the story. Just the beauty of the trees and
Yeah.
the
The place where I
coldness
grew up
of the night.
had the elm trees, like you say, like just making canopies across all the streets. And then in the 70s, the Dutch elm disease hit and
Hmm.
basically wiped them all out. I think part of it was people being so paranoid about there being an infected tree that they wound up actually taking down some healthy ones that maybe they didn't need to. But
Well, eventually they all get it. You know, they're gone out of the forests too. There's still a few remnants here and there, but it's not just the ones that are cultivated in cities. They're killed out in the forest.
yeah,
God, the goddamn beetle is just so destructive.
Oh, here it is. This is what I was looking for.
I wasn't laughing at you, Jen. It was the what the fuck were my edibles meme.
yep, that was a great one.
Oh,
I'm,
I
I'm
didn't
trying
see.
to I'm trying to show this picture, and
Yes,
it
there's that
doesn't really
that
show up.
sepia tone picture
Yep,
on the left side.
and
That's it.
actually, the
That's what
the
it looks like.
autumn one. That's the second from the bottom and the second from the left. That, yeah, that's
Well,
how I remember a lot of the streets where I grew up.
well, this is what I was trying to show was the whole. This is a street
Yep,
before Dutch elm disease, and then
Now Spooky's
after,
gone quiet.
and it's just like how everything
Night
looks
Doc.
like not. Oh, there it is. Let me see if that's. Oh, that's not much better.
yeah,
This is the website
And
I'm
so,
on.
what did they put in instead of elms? Ash
Nothing.
trees, which are now being destroyed by the emerald ash borer.
Yep, that's what actually came up with my last search was ash trees. But yeah, when you don't find marijuana edibles in your candy like the news warned you about.
yep,
Excuse me, what the fuck?
yep. I actually haven't tried the edibles yet. People tell me that it might hit me better because I'm pretty much immune to smoking the weed. I've only gotten high twice in my life. Just usually doesn't have any real effect on me.
Back in the day, it was very common for people to smoke pot for the first time or two and say, "Oh, I don't feel anything," and then
That
like the
happened to
third or
me.
fourth time, bang!
Yeah.
No, I mean,
Oh,
no. I've had friends who took it as a challenge and tell me they've, got this real excellent stuff. And it's like, so I've smoked it at least a dozen times and there's only
oh,
two
okay.
times it
Well,
had any effect. I did smoke salvia once, and that was a real trip. My fiance was my spotter. You know, the first time I was trying it, she was just going to not have any and watch me, which was a good thing because I wound up clinging to one of the pillars in the house, literally believing my life depended on it because somehow I had become convinced that I was living in a two-dimensional universe. And if somebody turned the page on the book, I was going to slide off the edge.
Were you watching the many adventures of Winnie the Pooh at the time?
No, but I did watch that one quite a few times as a kid, so maybe that was part of that coming back.
That one's still one of my favorites. Like I do enjoy the newer versions of Winnie the Pooh, but that one's the
Yeah,
best.
but my fiance, who was literally twice my size, was trying to wrestle me to the bed for my own safety. And she said after that I was a hell of a lot stronger than she would have ever given me credit for. So she was no longer worried about me walking outside at night. Which was
Oh,
actually an issue because I was the minority white guy in the predominantly black neighborhood, so I did get hassled.
Hey, Carrie, if you're in the audience, type something in so I know you're there. Not the Carrie that everybody knows around here. There's a different Carrie. Somebody I invited to the stream tonight.
That's
I don't
that's one of
I don't
those
know that she'll
things
make it because I think she's got to work in the morning,
I actually
like normal
regret
humans.
is not taking the opportunity to experiment with drugs when I was younger.
Yep.
I just never saw the draw to it. And now I'm older and I'm sitting here going, man, I wish I'd taken that acid that time I had the opportunity or whatever it was. Really, the most I ever had any access to was like weed.
Kitty, did you
Uh,
change any of your settings or your setup, physical setup?
no, not that I know of.
Okay, because you just went dead. I think about
Yeah.
the time that Doc left.
You know,
I'll
Can
be
anybody
back.
hear me?
so I can hear you.
Okay.
I think
So
it's
I
Jen
I don't
again,
know if it was,
unfortunately.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
if it was when Doc left or maybe it was when you were putting pictures up that maybe that threw her off again. Okay, Faye's asking somebody to repeat something. I'm not sure which.
I have no clue what you want to repeat,
Yep.
but we will
Yeah, we
if
need
you
you to
kind
be
of
more
hint.
specific. But Tony's saying in the side chat that the two-dimensional thing on the salvia is pretty common.
Now I have the Winnie the Pooh theme song going through my head.
Faye, if you're up for chatting, we got one more spot open in here yet.
The one thing I will tell people never, ever, 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 ever to consume through smoking, eating, or anything else is a little plant that goes by several different names. It's a very beautiful flower that people grow in their gardens. Um, Jimson weed, datura.
Oh my! Oh my! Oh
Haha,
my!
we
Yeah,
we
yeah,
have we
yeah.
have a winner. It is contains the class of drugs the belladonna alkaloids.
It contains scopolamine, doesn't it?
Well, that's exactly what belladonna is, scopolamine. Belladonna alkaloids are very nasty. You can die from them in an overdose situation. But
Yes.
before you get there, you're going to have the nastiest damn period of hallucinations and all sorts of other dangerous symptomology. Don't ever, ever, ever. You see somebody who's going to say, "Hey, well, let's go smoke that shit." Smack them upside the head and take it away from them and flush it. It is dangerous.
Yeah.
Don't let them do it.
And
Well,
yes,
that
it
is
can.
another thought I've had that, if I could properly identify the different species of mushrooms around here, because at the right time of year I find them growing all over the fringe of the forest and all different kinds, and I'm sure some of those are probably fun if you use them right. I just don't know which ones are just fun and which ones are going to kill you.
Oh, in and around here, this particular neighborhood with the tiny microforested areas and that sort of thing. You can find magic mushrooms. It's just I don't know, how to identify them. So I
Magic
wouldn't.
mushrooms grow on cow poop.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they grow other places too, but I know that they grow on cow poop.
Well, yeah, I know they like that.
I do too, personally. For a salad, it's not so
You
bad.
like cow poop?
And it's a great floor wax.
I was brought up mostly on horse manure, so my dad, one of the things he truly excelled at was gardening. And part of the reason for that is he would take two or three garbage cans and go to the riding stable and fill up a couple of cans with the horse manure and the used straw bedding and till that into the garden.
Wait a minute. TV Tube is asking that stuff has a use. What stuff? Cow shit or psilocybin?
Yep, there's a lot of probably a couple hundred species of fungus and molds that will get you high if ingested or if the spores are inhaled. And honestly, I credit that's probably most of the religious experiences I think probably come from that before people had refrigerators and when they couldn't afford to waste food, so even if it was moldy, you ate it anyway.
Yet there
I
was.
can see people having a lot of hallucinations and a lot of people claiming they were religious experiences, that they had, met angels or whatever.
Well, the Salem witch trials. One of the
That's what I
beliefs
was going to mention.
that stimulated them was the uh, fungus, the rye fungus, ergot, ergot, which had which hallucinogenic component? I
Lysergic
forget.
acid. Lysergic acid.
I
Well,
I'm not
it
I'm
was
not sure. Something similar, if not.
yeah. I think ergotamine or something like that. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
you could um, obtain lysergic acid from the um, the claviceps purpurea. You had to fool around with it to get it, but yeah.
Lysergic acid diethylamide
Well, that's
tartrate 25
that's
was
LSD.
was discovered by Albert Hoffman in 1948 or 49, quite by accident.
Yep.
Imagine being the first guy to ever take an acid trip.
Yep.
He accidentally ingested some, and
Okay, so
history was
apparently
made.
after we wrap this stream up, I'm going to have to go and edit the title from being Halloween stories to being the drug stream.
Okay. Well, you could probably do it now if you really wanted to.
Back in the 70s,
what better night than Halloween night? I mean, come on.
back in the 70s, I used to do presentations for doctors and nurses, particularly in drug treatment
Hey,
or
Faye.
alcohol treatment facilities and psychiatric facilities on street drug pharmacology
Hi,
because
Faye.
they didn't know shit.
Yay. Hello.
Fei?
Boy,
Ooh,
Faye
Fei.
sounds all happy. Not.
Well, she was saying that the weather was being horrible where she's at.
I don't know here. He's poo poo.
Are you there, Faye?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting major gusts and
I don't know, Tony. Do you?
yeah, Tony's cool.
What was he trying to discover? I'm sure I read it somewhere, but I didn't think it very important at the time.
Okay, you kind of cut Faye off there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't hear Fei.
No, it's okay.
I
I'm
didn't know she
trying
was
to get
talking.
the rainwater
I'll be
off of
back.
my windowsill.
Oh.
Yeah, she's got to do the in and outy.
Yeah, apparently whoever's on a mobile device has to be the last person to enter the room, otherwise they can't hear everyone.
there are emergency vehicles everywhere out there.
Oh, you are windy today.
Oh, it's only because I had to open the window in order to get the entire puddle up.
Uh-uh.
The lines are really rocking. Uh, if I disappear, it's because my electric went out.
Mm.
Okay.
It's a common thing in this area.
You.
Yeah. Well, with the wind we've got around here, I wouldn't be too surprised if we, had some trees come down and take out a power line.
Well, the funny thing is one time I went out. It was a 30-minute drive. Went to an appointment. Was gonna go home. Took me 4.5 hours to get home
Oi.
because there were trees and lines down everywhere because of the wind. You know.
Yep.
So what were y'all talking about?
Well, it's supposed to be Halloween, but nobody really has any stories apparently.
Yeah, so mostly people have been talking about psychedelic drugs.
Oh, I have absolutely no experience with that. So there you go.
Me either.
Yeah, I have very little, just that one episode.
Okay, fine. I'm the drug addict. Okay, great. That's
No, I'm like
fine.
I'm allergic to pot,
Ooh, that's
and I
rough.
don't really see the point of experimenting, but I don't know what will happen to me. So
Yeah,
Yeah, that makes sense.
I've never been real eager to, just because I have too good of an imagination to start with. So some of
mm,
that stuff becoming too real would be scary as hell.
Back in those days, the only things I ever ingested were on a regular basis. Um, Caffeine, nicotine, marijuana, and once in a while some alcohol. On a daily basis, it was nicotine and caffeine. And here I sit here, I'm about to take 20 pills to keep me alive. Now, which one's drug abuse?
The first one, not the second one.
No, there's the thing I have to do. Thank you for reminding
Yeah,
me. I
well,
suppose I should call the pharmacy and see if they got the stuff that the nephrologist wants me on, and I suppose I have to go pick it up and all that bullshit. Jesus fucking. Um, it wants me on an antihypertensive and on another statin,
A different or additional?
a different statin. I have a bad reaction to atorvastatin, so he's doing a different one. I
uh,
forget which one it is.
yeah, I'm on the atorvastatin, and they
Yeah, I
kept
get
insisting, and it's like, yeah, got to be a point it was easier just to stop arguing with them about it.
I get the muscle pain.
Yeah, I was on a different one, and I got that too. But now I'm on atorvastatin, and it's fine.
Yeah, I couldn't even do like 2 minutes on an exercise bicycle when I was on a atorvastatin, and it was like I can't do this shit. Um,
Diana, you're the biology person. What?
yes, dear.
There's a whole branch of people who say that everybody should get off statins, that they're just bad drugs and you shouldn't be taking them, and that includes medical personnel are saying that.
I've heard
Do
a
you know
lot of
anything
people
about it?
say that. Um, there have been a couple of people who have told me to get the fuck off of statins altogether. Trying to remember why it is that they were saying to get off. This has been a while since I've heard any of this. Let me look.
they're rather hard on your liver.
Ouch, Tony.
That's it.
Well, it does miss most of the point of live streams if you can't, like you said, like heckle the people in there. Um, Vice Rhino was doing his stream earlier tonight, and he was saying to his wife about the way she was behaving about flipping him off and that. And so I had shot a comment on him that that's why you need the Bible to keep your women in order.
Ooh, ooh,
Hmm.
boy, jeez. There's a whole couple pages of wrong in that one.
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
I know what you.
Hold on.
I didn't see any of that.
Excuse-
they were just doing one of their movie streams, one of their bad movies, some Bible Man movie.
Ow!
Yeah.
Faye,
That
where did you
sounds
come up with?
painful.
Where did you come up with your new avatar?
I drew it.
Oh, really?
You
Yeah, you didn't
forget,
Wow,
know
Ken.
Fada's art?
Faye
I did not
is a
know.
fantastic artist.
Oh,
I
yeah.
draw most of my stuff. If you see me, yeah, most of the stuff I do, I draw.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Thank you.
Yeah, she has several very intriguing ones.
God, I wish I could draw.
Me
Everyone
too.
can draw.
I can't draw a straight line with a ruler. Somebody did give me a tip, so next time I'll try using a pencil instead.
Okay.
My mother and my little sister are actually the quote unquote artists of the family. So
My mom had the gift, and I didn't find out about it, and she didn't tell anybody in her family about it until like the last 2 months of her life, where she was bored one day and she just did some doodlings in a notebook, and it was like, Jesus Christ, Mom, this looks like professional quality art. Oh yeah, I draw sometimes. Ma, how did you not ever do this before? Oh, I used to like to do that when I was a kid. Ma, how could you not do this?
Yeah,
Oh,
she probably liked doing it as a kid and got it beat out of her, huh? Because it wasn't
I don't know,
useful.
but oh, I've known a number of people who had the gift, how I think of it, and don't use it, and it's infuriating to me because I wish I had the gift and I don't. Um, it just makes me
it's
mad to see the talent wasted.
it's just practice, really. Constantly drawing. I mean,
If you have the talent,
there are some things for that you can learn some tips and things like that to actually get it done, but it, you you
Yeah,
could you
I,
could
I
do
think
it.
though, with drawing and artistic skills, though, you have to have a base talent.
Yes,
That if you don't
absolutely.
have that, I don't think for me any amount of practicing would ever get me there. Just because just the connection from my eyes to my hand is not there.
Right. I actually did manage a fairly decent representation of a coffee mug once, about 40 years ago, but that was about as good as I ever got.
Well, everybody seems to have so much fun with the fan art, so I've been practicing for 2 years now, and I think I can do a passable rendition of Professor Stick.
Okay.
It's funny, when I was in college, people used to pay me to do stick figures for them.
no.
Yeah.
I want a stick figure. Here's 50 bucks.
Okay,
Well,
when you draw something
actually,
like
yeah, because it was like they wanted door plaques and stuff,
Yeah.
and I would make stick figures, but I would have them doing things like trapeze or fighting lions and it was, I guess, stylized stick figures, and they liked them.
when you draw something like your avatar, is it in your head? I mean, is it a fairly fully developed notion in your head that you then put on paper, or does it
No,
develop piece by piece?
sometimes it develops piece by piece. Very, I usually fail if I'm trying for something specific. Like Well, have you seen what I drew for Angie?
I may have, but didn't know it was from you.
Her, well, I think it's
Yeah,
her avatar on YouTube.
yeah, she doesn't use it a lot because she's usually on camera, but sometimes she puts up the avatar for a little while when she's has to turn her camera off.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did that. Um, I made one for Diana.
Yes, you did.
Uh, I recently did a whole bunch of art for somebody, but I haven't seen them use it yet, so I don't know if they're going to use it. So I don't want to like release it. Um, uh, Linda, you know how she started up some videos.
Linda Nielsen.
Yeah, I did
Yeah, okay.
hers.
Oh, okay. I'm not
The
that one I seen.
Blackbird.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Um,
By the way, for any
Obaid's podcast, I did his.
I'm sorry. Who?
Obaid Omer, I did
Um,
his
oh,
I'm,
okay.
fighting bunny thing for the podcast.
I don't know that one.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see.
I don't remember Angie's channel name.
I put it in the fundraising group. I don't know if that helps.
Yeah, I'm not remembering what her channel name is offhand either.
Angie Dell 66.
Okay.
Hey, did y'all have? Is the mic working?
Yes.
Okay.
Now it is. If you were talking earlier, we didn't hear anything.
No, I know. I wasn't talking earlier. I guess it automatically turns off if it doesn't get enough sound from me after a while. I guess that's a safety feature.
Yeah.
You did this. Um, it's black. A white clad figure with red head or hair. Or
Yep.
Yep.
I wish it was a bigger picture so I could see it.
Oh, you just tap on it. Oh, you can make it bigger.
Digital demonic Devros.
Nope, it's not doing it for me.
And here's a picture that I drew of my cat. My asshole cat.
Meow.
That's Patsy.
Yep. We're not seeing your pictures.
Mm, oh well.
Ow! Oh,
Hi, D cubed.
So which cat attacked whom? I heard an ow.
that was Sammy's son. Was kind of half waking up, and
Oh,
he
saying hello with his claws?
yeah. Well, he had his front arm wrapped around my ankle, so he decided to pull himself up. I guess he felt he was slipping.
And you did your Faye the red background, black hair, green dress.
Mhm.
Boy, you have a wide style.
I don't have a style. That's the problem.
I feel your pain, Purple. I used to have a ferret that he would want to get in my lap. He would reach up, put his claws into my thigh, and then try and jump up, but he had a fat butt, so he
Yep.
couldn't get up. So all he was doing was sticking his claws into my thighs and then pulling.
Well, Sammy's real good at jumping up, but like I say, he's got the problem that he can't fully retract his claws, so when he lands, it's still a problem. Because then you got 10 pounds coming down on a very small surface area with sharp points coming through it. And I have to wonder if that was part of what wound him up in the shelter, but I know he can't do anything about it, so. But yeah, I've generally always got some scratches or punctures somewhere.
The same with me. Elmer likes the yawn and stretch. And unfortunately, the stretch at the end often includes claws, and it's not anything, mean or malicious. It's just
Yep.
he hasn't gotten the concept that that hurts. And he's just looking at me like, I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah, well, when I've got my jeans on, the denim's thick enough that he barely gets through it and I don't feel much. But, when I'm like sitting around in my pajamas, yeah, those don't offer any protection.
Oh, jeez, Faye.
Yeah, that isn't. I've got weird styles sometimes.
What are you, Faye, are you dropping stuff in one of the Twitter groups that we should look at?
No, just doing the regular tweet directly at Jen.
Oh,
Where
Oops, it got
is?
retweeted.
Such accident.
I mean, this one, two, three,
In Latin, we
three,
used to call that
four. You
casu
got
consulto.
4 distinct styles, different styles in one, and it works.
Oh,
yep.
it keeps changing.
Well, as we had talked about it quite a while ago, but I haven't been able to do too much with my writing. That I wanted you to do one of the aliens for my science fiction thing.
Oh, I will.
Yep.
Okay, now I gotta pull up Twitter and find these tweets.
I just did the one. Hold
Yep.
on.
Just hit the new tweets on Twitter and you'll see them.
Tweet,
They'll come up in the first couple.
retweet, tweet,
Um,
tweet, 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 tweet.
I did a boring mermaid. I can send you that.
That green one is just kind of unsettling, and I'm not quite sure why.
Oh, the pastel one.
Yeah, with the number 42.
Yeah, that's supposed to be unsettling.
Wasn't there a movie about a hotel room 42?
Maybe.
Oh, y'all are reminding me. Who did I tell I was going to send a bigger picture of my avatar to last week? Somebody. Was it you, Perp?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah, I had just commented on the dress, but just that with the size of the picture, I couldn't see too much there.
yeah, you want to see the details. I spent about, I think, hold on, 10 hours on the edging plus 2 for sewing. 50 hours on the dragon. 20 hours, 10 hours on the. Yeah, I spent somewhere around 100 hours on that dress. Somewhere
No.
between the 80 and 100 hour mark.
I can
So, yeah.
believe it. I don't do clothes. I know how to sew, but I avoid doing clothes because getting them
Oh,
fit
I
well
didn't
is so
sew
hard.
any of that stuff. That was just the tatting.
Oh,
While I do not have I do have a certain limit. Granted, my limit is still a little bit like high, but yeah, I didn't do any of the sew. The only sewing I did was stitching any of the tatting onto the fabric. I did not actually sew the outfit.
okay.
That would have added another 40-ish hours, I think. Probably somewhere 20 to 40. I'm not good at guessing with sewing.
Yeah.
But
That's
yeah,
my
let me
biggest problem
see.
with projects is I'm lousy at estimating my time.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Especially because for me, like, depending on my mood, I can be doing 4 things at once. And it's really hard to keep up with how much time it takes
Yep.
when you're just like, I'm gonna put this down because I can't do it. Oh wait, no, I'm picking it back up again. Nope, going back down. Oh hey, what's that?
Faye, is this digital work?
I'm finger painting on an iPad. I'm better with an actual brush, but
Wouldn't
paint
that
is
get
so
messy?
expensive.
Have you ever been looked at by a gallery or anything like that?
A what?
A gallery or somebody like that?
I did a local one once, long time ago.
What state are you in?
New York. Oh,
I have
here's
a,
this. I have a habit of making seascapes, so I'll send you a sailboat.
I have a friend who started the Wausau Museum of Modern Art.
Oh, MoMA?
Wausau,
Oh, the Wasa MoMA. Okay.
and I mean I've known David for geez,
Ow.
25 years or so now. Would you mind if I sent him some of your things?
Easy with the claws, okay?
If you want to, you can.
Yeah, I would very much want to.
Maybe he can give me some tips on what I'm doing. uh,
Or maybe you could sell thousands of dollars worth of prints or something.
that would be nice. The thing is, I think what I'm drawing on is actually way too small because I don't have the iPad Pro, where I can do lots of pixels.
What
Um,
format are the files?
I don't know, but this one is the one I'm sending you now is actually really tiny because I didn't know anything about like changing the size of things. It's one of my monster birds because I like monster birds.
I've noticed that theme.
Do you know the file format though? The PostScript, vector
No,
drawing. I mean, this isn't bitmap.
no, I don't know.
What application did you draw it with?
Um, some of them are several different applications. So
Names. I need names.
uh, I I don't remember what I've drawn most of them on, but I think lately I've been working on Procreate.
Okay. Do you ever do Illustrator?
I don't know what that is.
Adobe Illustrator?
Oh no, no.
Okay. Wow. The reason I'm asking file format is there's certain file formats in digital art that are infinitely resizable. If they're a native PostScript language, you can resize a vector drawing from one centimeter square to 20 centimeters or 20 meters by
I
20
don't.
meters, and it
I
will
think
have the
most of
same
them.
sharpness.
I think most of them isn't anything great. You know, but that's okay.
Kitty.
Was just laughing at what Tony Design put in the side chat.
What
For
I
Halloween, somebody came up with it earlier to be Freddy Krueger syndrome when you're so stupid it's scary.
You should highlight that comment purple.
I made some really good stuff for somebody recently, but as I said, they haven't used it.
How
But
do I
and
highlight a
I would
comment?
love to show
So
people,
there
but
should be something where it says comments, live comments, and then you click on it,
hmm
and then it'll show up at the bottom of the screen.
Well, Faye, you got something going on that I think is a pretty rare vision, and I think you should have somebody who really knows
Oh,
this
there we
stuff
go.
look at your stuff.
Okay, so that's how you do that.
okay.
And I would like to send this stuff to David, um, and see what he has to say. So I'm going to save these
Who
photos
is
so I can send them on to him.
Who is Jill?
His name is. Oh,
Oh, Jesus is Lord.
Oh,
A
that
religious
asshole.
truth. Yeah, that
Yeah,
one.
I'm vaguely familiar with
Ooh,
him.
Oh, I'll send you my Halloween picture from last year.
I don't know, Jill, but
And there's one other one I'm gonna send you. Uh,
I already want to run.
and this last one I'm gonna send you is the most disturbing picture I've made. I happen to love it. My mom is freaked out by it.
You know, if
oh
you
crap!
well, never mind.
Okay. Now, how
What?
do I take that down again?
Click on it again.
Okay, I've got to get back in the. Got to go back up the comment thread and find it again.
There's some
Yep, there.
Or
really.
you can just
Okay.
click on another one and then click on that one off.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
The only problem with that is that when you have it in this full screen mode, it covers everything. If you have it in the other mode, where that sometimes doesn't, but it also is
Yeah.
bad with
Well,
6.
even in the other mode, it covers the name tags. Although at this point, I think everybody in the chat here knows who people are, but I kind of like having the name tags up because sometimes it's like I go into chats and I don't know who half the people in there are.
Yeah, I've
Mhm.
I've seen that a couple times. The the first time I learned about who G-Man is, um,
Oh,
Hey.
that piece of shit.
um,
Sorry.
it was after a non sequitur debate where they had like 15 people in the chat and like tiny, tiny, tiny little names. I couldn't figure out who was who. I'm like, guys, the put the names up because I don't know who some of these people are.
Okay, I'm not gonna send you anymore. The last one is the one that scared my mom, though.
I don't find it disturbing, but I can see how one would. I think it's beautiful. I love them. The monotone with the colored accents in the dress.
No, there was a horror movie called Room 42.
Yep.
That's why I'm finding it so creepy
Okay.
because I've seen
Oh,
that movie. That's right. Oops, I just shut it down.
I don't remember it, but there's a good chance I saw it. My fiance was just a huge horror movie fan, so it's like there were a lot of them that I wasn't watching, but I was in the room while she was watching them. I never really liked horror movies much.
I don't mind horror movies, but I certainly don't want to do them by myself.
hmm.
The last movie that I watched by myself that was kind of horror-ish was oh, good, now I can't remember the name. Um it was the one where Harrison Ford was the bad guy, which is just so weird for me. Um
Oh, I love him.
yeah, but him as a bad guy
I kind of like that
was
idea,
was
though.
weird. It was
Oh,
What Lies Beneath.
yeah. If
Oh,
you want weird on that context, did you ever see Insomnia?
no, but I love
No.
it.
Every
Yeah.
night.
Robin Williams. Um, no, it wasn't Insomnia. There was
The
there
photo
was
booth.
one that Robin Williams played a serial killer.
I think that was something about photo booth.
Yeah, well that wasn't a serial killer, but yeah, he had a very weird obsession with this woman and her son. And yeah, that was really creepy too.
But yeah,
Oh,
Insomnia from 2002 was a movie with Robin Williams in it.
Yeah, but he wasn't the killer in that one. He was tracking the guy. But he was also in the course of that movie he was losing it just from lack
I,
of
s-
sleep. He was
I,
kind of
I,
going
I saw
insane.
that photo when you're talking about. That was
Yeah, one
I
hour
stopped
photo
watching it. It
was
was
the
so
other one.
disturbing.
Yeah. Yeah, and even after doing those, all the video places, and even now, even on Netflix, they insist on listing anything Robin Williams is in under comedy. You
Oh,
know, it's
jeez.
That's
like,
not
Yeah, Dead
right.
Poet Society is definitely a comedy.
yeah,
Okay.
get a clue, people. And I
And that
have
one
to
where he
think that,
plays the Russian guy.
yeah, I have to think that probably had something to do with his suicide. That nobody would take him as anything other than a comedic actor, and he had so much more range than that he never got credit for. You
No,
know,
he.
and I mean, Good Morning Vietnam, he was cracking jokes, but that was a really heart wrenching film.
Yes.
No, Robin Williams killed himself because he was pathologically depressed. It had nothing to do with roles or anything like that.
Yeah, well,
Hmm.
but what I mean is, I think that probably fed into the depression. I could be totally wrong. It just kind of how I would probably process it if I was in that situation.
So you think we're going to impeach our president?
Please.
It sounds like it. Um,
That
I
He'll
doesn't
be.
mean they'll remove him, though.
Yeah,
That's
it's
the
just what I was going to
problem.
say. I was listening to the debate before the vote early in the afternoon, and God, um, it amazes me how anyone could support the Trump guy with the stuff he's done, especially lately, but yet it's right down party lines. It's all unfair. It's all unfair. Asshole, he's destroying our
I
democracy.
I'm
What?
actually giving them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt that when they're saying that you don't know how deep this goes, implying that there's other people, including Democrats, that are involved. I think that may have some truth behind it. I wouldn't be
It
surprised at
may.
all if there weren't some very dirty Democrats
oh
Oh,
no,
please,
I'm
of
doing
I'm
shit,
course
sure
there
there are.
are.
and I
Um,
would welcome them to get nailed for it.
One thing I found quite telling was that the vote for proceeding with the impeachment, while it did split on party lines, the way it split was that all the Republicans refused to vote.
Hmm.
So they're not willing to say that they're supporting him anymore.
No, wait a minute. What I was watching when the votes were coming in was the Republicans were coming in as nays. What were you
Not
seeing where
abstention.
they were either abstain? Where were you seeing either abstention or present?
I just caught a clip of a news report earlier.
Oh, yeah,
That
it's
was.
been on NPR all day.
Yeah.
Oh, were you looking at something that came early in the voting? Because what I noticed what they were doing when they were doing the vote counts, they started everybody off as not voting, and then as each of the reps cast a vote, it was moved from not voting to whatever the cast vote was. I'm wondering if that's what happened.
Mm, the way I was seeing it reported, that didn't sound like it.
Okay.
Faye, would you say all your stuff has a certain level of macabre to it?
Mm, unless someone requests that I do something different.
Faye, you like you know, the birds. I forget what term you used for them.
Monster
Yeah,
birds.
your monster birds. Um, I don't know if you've at all familiar with paleontology, but in South America, between when the dinosaurs went extinct and when the mammals took over, South America was basically being run by these terror birds that were like 6 to 10 feet tall and basically ate everything in sight.
Yeah. I'm sorry, yes.
Yeah. Well, and basically, generally
I
they
love
think they
them.
only went extinct because mammals had the advantage of not having to guard the eggs when they went out hunting.
Yeah, I really like them though.
You know what flashed in my head when you said that, Barry? The Adams family.
Yeah. Well, it would have made things a
uh,
whole lot different for the Spanish conquistadors if it wasn't just the dodos they were finding when they landed there.
It's fun. I there are birds that I really really love that are complete jackasses like cassowaries and shoebills
is
and
that one of those, that one that's like real tall, um,
the
and almost
shoebill
has
is
like
like
a,
6 feet tall. I think it's in
yeah, it's got like
Africa.
some kind of armored plate kind of thing in its head,
Yes,
and
Oh, that's the cassowary. Cassowary is also called the dinosaur bird, and they're really, really dangerous.
yep,
yeah,
And they
yeah,
have
they'll tear you
screwed
to
up
shreds.
claws. But shoebills have this beak that, oh wow, it's like a steam shovel, gut gut ripping steam shovel.
yeah, and I don't remember the proper names for all of them, but yeah, there were a couple of them, the prehistoric South American ones. That there were a couple of them that there was no question that their beak could crack open the skull of anything it found.
Purple share.
Sorry, that was up above the line. It's moving around.
This is a shoe bill.
Hmm.
They're ugly birds.
Dope trasta. Ah.
Yep.
Oh, I always thought those were kind of cool looking.
I think they're wonderful.
They look like a
There's
cartoon character.
there's some there are some birds out there that like okay, all birds are assholes. I mean,
Yep.
let's just make
No.
that yeah.
Yeah. Pretty
They're
much.
And then
completely
this is the
jackasses.
cassowary.
Yeah, that's the
And
danger
the
bird.
cassowary is just amazing.
Yeah.
But
But
What's the one that like if it kicks you it could kill you?
a
Is that the
cassowary.
cassowary?
yep.
Hmm.
Yeah.
You look up cassowary claws.
Yeah. The
That's
cassowary are
got
one of the things in Australia that is not poisonous, and they are really pissed off about it.
is it Australia or New
They just
Zealand?
have a really bad attitude.
Is it Australia or New Zealand?
I
I
One
thought
thought
of
they
there
were
their
in
was
Australia.
one of their talons is like 5 inches long, and
Yeah.
it's
Well,
What the
basically
hell?
yeah. Highlight one of those that's got the gloved hand with it, just so you can see how big it is in proportion to a human hand.
yeah. I mean,
I
that
Yeah.
being
want
a
to. I want to
taxi,
see
you're
Aaron Ra explain this.
well.
Yep.
There was a
He
guy in
already
the United
has.
States. I
but
think it
there's
was
another
either somewhere in the South. It was I don't know if it was Florida or what, but he decided that he would raise cassowaries, and everyone's going, "It's a bad idea. It's a bad idea." He's like, "No, it's gonna be fine." Well, they found his
That
body.
sounds like Florida.
Yeah.
They found his body,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was a cassowary attack.
I was reading about that one last week. Yeah.
here's
Anybody see
one.
Um,
that
I mean,
that
look at that.
film
That
that
that a single claw there is
That's
about
like
as long
the
as a person's whole hand.
I just thought there was another bird with a weird name.
Booby.
There are
No.
several.
Well,
Uh,
the
yes,
blue-footed booby?
but it was
Those are
basically like a
just
cassowary,
darling.
but it wasn't a cassowary, and I can't
Yeah.
remember what it was called.
um, I think I know the one you
Yeah.
might
I
mean, but
I
I
think there
cannot
is
remember
another
the name.
related species down there, and maybe there's one in Australia and one in New Zealand. I'm not sure.
I told one of my friends I was sending him boobies for Christmas. He was not amused when he got little plushy blue-footed booby things.
Let's see what happens here.
I use that
Oh,
as the
okay.
thumbnail for one of my chats, and I'd put that in the description. That I was told that I'd get more views if I put on some boobies.
I,
Aren't those adorable?
I
I
sometimes
just
have
love
to
boobies.
cheat with hands. I will have to look up like a photo and actually like
Emu. Is that
trace
what
a
it was?
hand.
Is that what it was?
Oh, there were emus. They're cool.
Yep.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
the emu I was thinking of.
Yeah, the
Oh wow,
emu's
that
a pretty
picture right
good
there.
sized bird.
Have you seen that insurance company that's using the emu as one of its spokespeople? It's Lincoln something insurance company,
Oh, they're
Yeah,
trying
but
to be
they're
more like Geico or something by using an
yeah, but
animal.
they're
they
claws.
call it the Limu emu.
Do you know who I
It's really
really
kind of
like?
funny.
I like that pissed off panda bear.
This is what they're talking about.
Yep,
It's Liberty Mutual.
Oh.
yep, that's it. Limu.
Have you ever seen the commercials with the pissed off panda
Mm.
bear? I think it advertises cheese or something like that, but it'll go in and wreck a place like a grocery store or an office building or something. It gets mad and starts pushing things over and crap. No, nobody.
It looks the
Yeah,
oh, there's a GIF.
Yep. I know I saw it at some point. I don't watch a lot of TV though, so.
I don't watch TV at all, and I don't think it's American.
Okay.
I'm screen sharing some GIFs.
Yep. I see
It
them.
look like it's probably I don't know.
I do know one thing. I have difficulty drawing certain things, like fingers, so I have to cheat.
I'll turn it into a trademark. John Matter can't draw fingers, and his hands have become his trademark in his animations by now.
Well, I mean, a
Who?
lot of artists use light boxes and things like that, and that's just
Uh,
Who
J-
who
a
can
tool.
John Matter, Dark Matter 2525.
Oh,
Oh, I know him. Yeah.
Yeah, his hands are always very flat. He doesn't seem to be able to draw them in any
oh, I see what you mean.
3D. Well, I mean, not these. Try to look for something with the hands with the fingers.
Like that? Oh,
All I
yeah.
know is that when it comes to hands, sometimes I have to
Yeah, there you go.
cheat
Well,
or
a
body
lot of people
portion.
have hands with problems with hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's part of our, you know, our actual conceptualizing of ourselves. That our
There's
brain
a,
actually conceptualizes our hands to be much larger than they really are.
Or smaller.
Well, in the case of certain politicians, yes.
Excuse me, everybody is breaking up completely. Um, that I don't know what the fucking technical term is.
Yeah.
Roboting?
No, that's that boingy boingy kind of
Just
sound
getting staticky or what?
where everybody, it's like you're getting to a peak level of volume and it cuts it off, but nobody's shouting, and it's just happening
Clipping?
all the time.
Oh.
Clipping?
Yeah, clipping. That's it.
yeah, everybody sounds fine to me.
Yeah, I didn't notice anything change.
Purple. It sounds like it seems like you get to a certain point in the show and that starts to happen, and it makes me think that the software is like buffering something somewhere and it's filled it up and it doesn't know what to do with it, and so everything's getting clipped that way. I don't think it's
There
you
you
or
go.
anything.
That
Well,
is
I
the
think
classic hand that I have in mind when I
yep.
talk about John's hands.
Yep. I wonder if that's just happening in my streams, if maybe that has to do with my computer having such limited memory.
it might be something special tonight because one, I'm having a storm, and two, a lot of my programs are trying to update. So I think there's been some major updates in software
Well,
across the
I mean, like
board.
I said, it might be your phone or your connection, Jen, because everybody else is saying we all found fine, sound fine, found fine. Bleh.
Blech.
But I don't get this on anybody else's stream,
Uh,
Yeah.
no matter no matter what software they're using. I only see it here on StreamYard.
Yeah. Well, that's like the only thing I can think of is that, my computer's kind of stretching the memory to the limit, so maybe it's not processing things back and forth as fast as it should be.
Yeah, but if they're not hearing it too,
Yeah, I don't know.
well, I can. I'm going to tell you what. I'm going to try. I'm going to do a complete cold reboot.
Okay. We'll be here for a while.
I'm drawing.
what you drawing?
Nothing good apparently. Uh, I'll tweet it just in the regular Twitterverse. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's pretty awful. Usually I don't post things if it's in this stage, so forgive the
Yeah.
suckiness.
I'm sure it's still going to be way more than anything I could compete with.
Yeah, this is like
Same
how
here.
how this is starting.
No, I was gonna. You guys were talking about movies, and I was trying to look up a movie before I said something. But if you want a movie that's a trippy ride, try The Uninvited.
Uninvited.
Hmm.
Okay.
There's very few movies
Oh,
that I've gotten to the end and just been like, what?
that's how I felt when I read Patrick Susskind's book Perfume.
Hmm. I felt that way about Dean Koontz. It's one of his books I read. It was it was a really wild ride.
Um, you get to this one line toward the end of the story, and I think it's like on the very last page, and you read it like 100 times because it's no wait, that did not just happen. And then you read it again, and 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 you still, what the, what did I just read? It's one of those moments, and it's freaky.
Yeah, this I read this book once by Dean Koontz called TikTok, and it was just it started out being about voodoo, and then it was a star child, and then it was evil aliens teaching magic to people, and it was just really
This is
weird.
this is more of like a kind of like a Middle Ages thing, and it's this guy is born without a cent, and it's a story of his life and how it seems like there's a curse that follows him, but it's never identified. It's almost like nature itself abhors him and also hates anyone who uses him because his sense of smell is almost on a paranormal level because he has no body odor to mess that up.
Hmm.
I think I've heard that story. Of that story.
Yeah,
I've heard
they
people
they made
tell
a
it. Yeah.
movie. They made a movie out of it, but they didn't do the ending right because that one line is impossible to capture. That one line is they totally did not do that. But I really want to tell you what it is, but I can't. Spoilers.
Well, I don't have an issue with anything that's a spoiler if it's something that like has been out over a year.
Okay, well then if nobody minds, And anyone who's listening who wants to read Perfume, Scent of a Murderer, please skip ahead like 20 seconds. At that one line, after he kills these virgin girls and makes the perfect scent that he was wearing, and people would love him and blah blah blah, and they weren't afraid of him anymore. They weren't using him anymore. I forget what the catalyst was, but he kind of gets sick of everything, and he dumps the perfume, all of it, on himself. So everyone in the village turns around and they tear him apart and eat him.
Oh, yum.
And that's the end of the book.
So
Okay.
he goes through the trouble of killing all these people to make a perfume so that he'll smell
The
normal.
the most beautiful people, the most beautiful, most innocent, most lovely, scented people. These women. I think there was like 4 or 6 of them, and he makes this perfume that's perfect, so perfect that And I forget. It's like suddenly he gets a conscience or something. I don't know. He's almost like a someone who's masquerading as a human, but he's not, but he is. It's just really strange.
Oh, sorry. I didn't mute fast enough.
Gesundheit.
Wasn't much to moot. Oh, ow. Kitty. Oh, Kitty did a job on my ankle.
Is that what happens when you leave?
No, no, he has a genetic defect that he only has 5 pads, but he has 6 claws. So each of his thumbs has 2 claws coming out of it, and because of that, he can't fully retract his front claws.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
But it's like I could feel it, but since he's still laying on me, I couldn't move the blanket. But now I'm seeing a blood spot developing on the blanket. It's coming
Oops.
right through. So he punctured me pretty good there. Oh well. It'll heal. I can bleach the blanket. It's white.
Yeah, that's why I like white blankets.
Yeah, I wound up with a whole bunch of the standard issue hospital blankets because, like, every time I wound up taking my fiance to the emergency room, it's like if it was like this time of year and she didn't have time to grab a jacket, then they'd be all worried about sending her home when it was too cold, so they'd send her home wrapped up in one of these blankets.
Mhm.
So I've got a stock of them,
Mm,
and I don't
mm.
know. It's how autistics are with the texture thing, and it's just now I associate the texture with her, so this is what I always wrap up with.
Makes sense.
Oh, okay, he got up. Yeah,
My cat beats the crap out of me too.
yeah, I know he can't do anything about it.
Well, she thinks she's just being affectionate, when actually what she's doing is puncturing me.
Oh, does she like kneading you?
No, what she'll do is she'll walk up and she likes to tap me, and she's been petting me a lot. When she'll go and she'll pat me with her paw, but occasionally she'll get too overzealous and she'll put her paw on my leg and then she'll just flex her claws into me
Yep.
Mhm.
and just all of them, and it's just, oh, okay, kitty, that's too much.
Yeah,
Elmer's
know
pretty
what you mean.
similar. We have a bedtime routine of he kneads the hell out of my neck until I get too tired of him. and politely move him to a different spot on the bed. Uh, but I put up with it because he's so excited when we go to bed. He's just like, "Yay, it's snuggle time!"
Oh yeah. Well, I don't do anything about pets, so I'll say ow, and that'll stop her sometimes. But
Oh,
she's usually giving me the
sorry, Jen.
cutest face.
Oh, quite all right. So I came back on my phone to try a different platform, see if that worked, and it was even worse. And now I
Oh.
come back and it's fine. So maybe it's something with the StreamYard's mobile version,
Well,
because they
write
do
to
they
them
do
and
they
let
do
them know.
yeah, they do give a screen that says if you're having any trouble, go use a laptop or a desktop. That this is experimental, so I'll
Yeah.
give them some feedback.
Oh, I hate that October is the month that I always struggle with money because all of the Halloween stuff is out.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, I just decided since Purple's going to keep my screen up there, I'm just going to Google Halloween memes.
Oh.
Look at this one.
Oh Lord.
Um, Sloth Girl got a T-shirt for her daughter. You know that it was like the typical thing from Friends, but replacing all the characters with like Freddy
Cats?
Krueger and all the
Oh,
horror movie slashers.
that's so sweet.
Yeah, it was a great T-shirt.
And then this meme that I found.
Yep.
Oh, look at this one. Puppy saying it's ready for Halloween.
One of my favorite memes is like one of the little teeny tiny bats that are like slightly about the length of your pinky finger, and you've got the person pointing at it, and it says, "Stop touching me! I am the night."
Oh, I love that.
Oh,
Uh, in Twitter, if you look up "fabulous bat" under the
This?
gifts,
Yes.
I love "fabulous bat."
oh, I hadn't
I
seen that one.
One of my favorite
Sky
Twitters that doesn't
puppies.
have a lot of momentum right now, but I'm hoping they get more, is unsolicited dick pics.
Oh, I've
I
been
love
following them.
those.
And then when it comes to bats, I love the ones where the bats are eating things. Like
Mhm.
here's a bat eating a grape.
Yep.
Walter. Mhm.
Mhm.
Walter's
Banana.
been in her care for years, but there's others.
Sky puppies.
Definitely
Sky
Sky Puppy.
puppers.
I wanted when I was living in South Carolina, I had wanted to try and figure out how to set up bat housing.
Oh, that's easy.
Um, but my parents were like, "I don't want bats in my yard." I'm like, "Really?
Oh, yes, you do. You
Yes,
want
you
bats
do."
in your
They're
yard.
already in your yard, and we're just giving them a
Hmm?
place to stay.
Okay, if anybody says they don't want bats in their yard, tell them that they eat up to 500 mosquitoes a night.
I was about to say I really need to get off my lazy ass and make a bat house. I think you actually get compensated slightly for doing so.
Well, the first question you ask is how far are you from a source of water?
I live in Florida.
Well, I don't know. Are you within a quarter mile of water?
Yes.
Most
Okay.
The
places
simple
in
answer is
Florida.
in Florida, the answer is yes.
Okay. Because if you're not, they say don't bother because you're not going to get bats. Bats live near water, and that's it.
I don't think that's really true.
Yeah, fight me.
Well, especially
Jen is like,
considering
I
how many
fucking
different
tried,
species of
goddammit.
bats there are.
No.
Here. I love how Jen's just like, I fucking tried, god damn it. I wanted bats in my yard.
So
Yep.
this is actually where this little L shape here in the woods
Mm-hmm.
is a pond, but this is my parents' property. And I'm like, all this wooded area, there's got to be a chance that they would live in that area. But I don't know. I've never saw them. Let's see. Oh,
We had a bat swarm. The one of the lampposts out here. We'd had a really bad mosquito season, and they were just out there swarming. And my dad and I were just sitting at the door, just watching. It was awesome. Um,
Oh, jeez.
I'm glad nobody.
Oh, that Chevy truck picture is just awful.
Yeah.
What's that one with Dory in it that says, "Oh, look, Halloween candy"? Oh, that's me tonight.
all I did was buy a bag of Hershey's milk chocolate just in case. And of course, there was no trick or treater, so now I get the whole bag to myself.
I had 3. I was like, look, take this so I don't eat it all myself in one sitting, please. They're like, are you sure? I'm like, take it. Take the whole thing. Just go.
Well, I'm pretty sure the trick or treaters are coming back on Saturday, so I better go to the store and get another bag.
Well, there's like, see, I have 2 major holidays: the day after Easter and the day after Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh,
Well,
I,
the day
I
after
love the day
Valentine's
after
Day works too.
Valentine's.
Yeah.
Yep,
I love the
that's
day
true.
after
That's true.
Valentine's.
My sister figured out that I'm willing to do almost anything for a Cadbury cream egg in September.
Ah.
Oh no.
I want to
She
see.
bought
I want to see the meme that says Jake from State Farm up on the top row,
top row.
right in the middle. There you go.
So that property that I live on, that I showed, that my parents lived in the back. I lived with my parents. My sister lived in the front house, and it was a cold, rainy day, and we burned our trash in a pit in the back. And she called me up one day and said, "I need to burn trash." I'm like, "Yeah, so go burn your trash." She's like, "I don't really want to do it," and I'm like, "I'm not coming up there to burn your trash." And she's like, "I've got frozen Cadbury cream eggs." I said, "I'll be there in 5 minutes." Oh,
Yep.
look at this! Look at this! Look at this!
I couldn't find him, but somewhere around here I have holiday bow ties for Elmer. And he just looks so cute in them because he's already a tuxedo cat.
Oh.
I tried to do hats on my ferrets once, and it didn't go very well.
Not my ferrets, no.
Let's
I've
see.
been thinking about picking up a harness for Sammy and seeing if he would be willing to walk outside on a leash just so he could get out of the apartment.
Oh, do you guys get this picture?
If he wants out bad enough, then he will. Elmer does okay on a leash. I was leash training him with the intent of traveling with him, but I still don't know if I can because every time I try, he decides that he's going to stop eating.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the traveling, that's his timing, apparently.
Are you sure it's not about him getting stressed?
Possibly, like I know that he realizes that I'm leaving. I don't think he gets the idea that I'm wanting him to go with me because he's not afraid of the outside. He's not afraid of going out
Oh,
into the yard as long as I'm there with him. But I can't just release him into the yard. We have too many animals
critters.
and things.
Yeah,
Yeah. But the thing is that, like, with his curiosity, I wonder if he would be okay with traveling as long as he got the idea that he's A, staying with me, and B, he gets to go and explore and be curious because he is an extremely curious cat.
yeah. It's just getting him past the first couple of times until he gets the idea of it.
Mm-hmm.
So just it's just a matter of doing it slowly. Like take him out in the yard, and then take him into the car, and then take him home, and then drive around the block, and then go
Yeah.
home. You know. So
Yeah, because
does anybody get this gif, this meme here?
nope.
I think the picture's too small to really see it fully.
Which one?
The one with the dog and the Barbie doll.
Okay, that's a
Um,
Barbie
Wait, I
doll on his
can't
back.
see it.
Okay, let's try this one.
Did you see my Barbies with flamingos?
It's a dog dressed up as a wrecking ball.
Oh, it's
From that
Oh,
Miley
Miley
Cyrus.
Cyrus song.
I get it.
No, poor baby.
You said something. Okay, this has something to do with a song.
Yeah, there's this. I came in like a
Yeah.
wrecking ball.
By Miley
Yeah,
Cyrus. That's probably why you don't know.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
why I have. Okay, that explains
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
a few years back, she got a lot of bad press for it because basically she had you know, the sweet goody girl image, and then she did this thing that was blatantly sexual.
Well, the thing is
Look,
that
world, I have a vagina.
the thing is that they're so strict with you when you do stuff for Disney.
It was
I'm not
basically a reenactment.
surprised.
hmm
I'm not surprised when these Disney pop kids come out of Disney and they're like, I'm gonna go live my life now. Thanks.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
they are so soul crushing. It's really not surprising that a lot of them get out of it, and then they just turn into little hellions, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Yeah, but her dad was Billy Ray Cyrus.
Hey,
She
Annette
was
That doesn't make it.
Funicello was pure. She never actually had sex with Frankie Valli.
Oh yeah. Never had a belly button.
No, she was like one of those virgin birth types.
Yeah.
Isn't everyone born a virgin?
No, virgin birth. Her mother
Birth.
was a virgin.
I know.
But yeah. No, that's the wrong
I
color.
love that unicorn format. It's so useful for so many things. I need to find the supernatural one.
I was at Mayo Clinic, and one of the nurses was dressed up as a unicorn. She had a horn, of course, and a blue mane that came down the center of
Oh,
her head, down her neck and back a little bit.
that sounds pretty.
It actually did.
Oh, I haven't seen that one. That one's great. No,
Okay.
that's not it. It's the exact same format, but it's basically she had glitter all over her face, and it's referencing when somebody's imaginary friend died, and they were a unicorn, and basically their blood was glitter. It was a
Oh,
really
have you
weird
guys?
supernatural episode.
Have you
Didn't
guys?
unicorns?
Okay, speaking of unicorns, have you seen the Squatty Potty unicorn thing?
No.
No.
Let me see.
Oh no.
Didn't unicorns used to have
Why?
wings?
That's
That's called a
Pegasus.
Pegasus.
Pegacorn.
Peacorn. So you might not be able to hear this, but I'm gonna play it,
Oh
and you can at
no.
least.
I'm out. I'm out.
Wait, what is it? Please link that to me.
It's basically implying that that ice cream is unicorn poop.
Yeah,
And
Okay.
that
I
then
makes
like ice
it
cream.
rainbow sherbet.
I'm gonna post it on Twitter. Oh,
Uh huh.
hold on, my computer just decided to do like 7 things at once.
Why do we all do that? Um, um, Perp, what you said sherbet. Why do we all pronounce it sherbet when it's sherbet?
Yeah, there's no R. The
We all
second
do
R
it. We all do it. I did
second
it
R
all my
doesn't
life
exist.
too.
Oh, it's sorbet?
No, it's sherbet.
No, sherbet.
Sherbet.
Yeah.
Everybody puts an R in there. BERT.
Because we're Americans and our language is so screwed up with letters you pronounce that aren't there and letters that are there that you're not supposed to pronounce, because we've stolen them from so many other languages.
Well, they do that in the UK too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can tell someone who doesn't know because they'll say Gloucester when you're supposed to say Gloucester. They leave out letters.
At the last
Yeah, two
gaming
thirds of the
convention,
word they leave out.
Well, that's kind of a slang that develops. Like how they pronounce Louisville or New Orleans. That just becomes the vernacular of the
yeah.
region.
Yeah,
No,
Missouri.
People say schedule wrong. It's supposed to be schedule.
I will. It's a schedule, and I will fight you about that. No, I'm just kidding.
at the gaming convention I was at 2 weeks ago, one of the women there had the T-shirt that just nailed it. It said, "English does not borrow from other languages. English follows other languages down dark alleys, roughs them up, and rummages through their pockets for loose grammar."
Pretty much.
Well, the thing is, it's like I'm okay with sherbet, and I'm fine with people mispronouncing Gloucester by saying Gloucester. I'm fine with it as long as everyone knows what you're talking about. You're fine.
It's
That doesn't
fine.
bother me. That
Well,
doesn't bother me.
and Jen, you say it doesn't have an R in it, but I think that even the spelling has been mutated.
No,
Yeah, it has.
Yeah,
no.
well, I have definitely seen, containers that some brands do spell it with an R.
I would have to
I have
see
to.
that. I don't buy that at all.
Oh, hey, look. This picture looks familiar.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Look at this one.
are you saying that I've never actually seen it spelled with an R and this is a Mandela effect thing?
I don't cop to the Mandela effect, but I think that we can have that sort of phenomenon go on in our heads. Yeah.
Yeah. Any reference I make to the Mandela effect is a joke. I don't take that any more seriously
Well,
than flattery.
caramel, and caramel.
Or ketchup and catsup.
Yeah.
But as I said, it doesn't really bother me, and it's like I know a lot of people it does bother, but
Oh, it doesn't bother me either. I mean, sure, but it doesn't bother me at all. When I discovered it myself that I was calling it sherbet, and then once I read it on the package, I go, why do I call it that? And I noticed that everybody else calls it that too. And it's just a curiosity. I like language and words and why do we do things the way we do and that kind of stuff.
well, it's an English major. I get it. I have a degree in English, but I rarely use it for anything, and I
So
definitely don't use it for
All
casual
your
conversation.
paintings appeared to be spelled correctly.
I was looking up, I typed in sherbet in Google for kicks, and it's basically like you're pronouncing it wrong, you numpties.
So who wants to die to this army?
A what?
Yep.
Look on the stream.
I've also seen the I ordered an army. What am I supposed to do with these jelly beans? Kind of one
Ooh,
as
Yeah.
did you
well.
go back to that
Yep. I
picture?
had that one.
Ah! Computer.
Sorry.
Stop.
Oh, it wasn't me. Okay.
No, it was me.
Hey.
I was worried that my mic had made that sound like a screeching
Okay.
sound. I
Oh.
forgot to mute.
What this?
Oh no.
Why not? They've got sexy everything else costumes, so
Sexy ghost.
yep.
Oh, there was
Uh,
another one down here. Where is
Just
it?
look
Where
up
is it?
Jesus porn and get it over with.
They did
There
a
you go.
story on ABC today
About
about
Jesus
the
porn?
no, about sexy Halloween costumes.
Oh.
Most of them come out of one company. It's called Vandy, Vandy,
Oh yeah, I've
um,
seen those.
and they do all kinds of like underwear and different things like that. Um, but the Halloween has become their main thing. The whole company's run by women.
Not
So,
surprised.
you mentioned sexy, and I thought about this. Have you guys heard of bubble porn?
Yeah, I've
Yeah,
heard of
I
it.
ran across this on Tumblr one
Yeah.
time.
But see, look at this. These are the two pictures. They bubble it to make
Yeah.
it look indecent.
To make it look like when they were naked when they were wearing swimsuits anyway, yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So like you're
I didn't
seeing something you're not supposed to see.
yeah.
Now that one, that might be.
Guess I ran across this at one time on Twitter on Tumblr and
Oh,
I didn't quite get it.
abort, abort. There was some
Yeah.
there was some pictures in there I didn't really want to show. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
this weird thing. What's this? Look at this one.
Okay,
I can't read the
and
It
can I?
text.
says it says I'm Mr. Gray and I can bring your sexual fantasies to life. And it says bitch please.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what else do you expect when you get fan fiction of a poorly written Mormon romance vampire novel thing?
Yeah.
I get so mad at people like I'm not into BDSM. At least I don't think so. But even I know. My boyfriend just shouted something inappropriate from the other room. I hope you didn't hear it.
All I heard was
Nope.
blah, 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 boyfriend.
Even I know that story is not BDSM. That story is
No,
abuse.
Yeah.
no, it's
What
abuse
story?
for sure.
The 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, what did
It's
you what did
painted as
you
like
what did you look up to get this all these memes on one page?
I think I just googled Halloween memes.
Okay.
Oh, it's this kid one. Oh,
Yeah.
look at this one.
That's me. When I get older, I'm gonna be the crazy cat lady.
Sloth Girl was talking about doing that same costume. That she
Oh,
wanted to get a bunch of the
hold it,
Beanie
hold
Baby
it, hold
kitties.
it, stop. When you're back from
Which
trick or
one?
treating, Beetlejuice. Oh, that's dumb.
Let me see, because that gave. Oh wait, where was it? I'm gonna click on that and see if it gives me. Oh, more like that one.
He is such a
Oh,
good
here we go.
actor.
Mm,
That's good.
Little girl and her dog in this trick or treat costume.
She's Little Red Riding Hood, and the dog is at Grandma. Let's
This
see.
picture,
Yeah,
I'm
the
going
wolf
to.
dressed as grandma.
Yeah, let me see if I can come on all the way to the top. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Oops, not shopping images. Oh, look at this. A little Cruella de Vil. Eh.
It's a little weird.
How about this one? Baby's the lobster.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's cute. As Frida Kahlo.
Mm-hmm.
I was hoping for some more. Oh,
I'm terrible.
some
If
more
she
Mimi.
if she only would have plucked her eyebrows, she could have been something.
Oh, here we go.
I take exception to that. Some of us have to use walkers.
Let's see.
Okay, well that's kind of an interesting question that do you actually find that offensive just because
I yeah, a little bit. I mean, not offended in that, oh, I'm aghast and all this kind of thing, and I want to take you to court, or so, not on that level, but it's just not a very nice dig. Um,
yeah.
What
I,
is it? I don't see it.
it
well,
was the.
I have to from time to time use a walker, okay, and I came from a fairly active life where my body earned my living, and it wasn't horizontally,
Hmm.
and it hurts me to have to be reduced to using a walker now. Um, it's embarrassing. It's annoying. It gets in my way. It gets in other people's way, and it's just nothing fun about having a walker. And to make it a costume on a little kid is just it's a little insulting. It's just fuck you.
I don't look at it that way. I don't know. I think like okay,
I think it's a. I think it's a. It's a stages of life thing. We start out not being able to walk, and as we get older and we've lived our life, we start to have trouble walking because we've lived life. And they're kind of juxtaposing those two positions of just starting and being able and not being able to walk yet, and having and gotten to the point where you've walked so much you can't walk anymore.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but those
No,
are those are no, okay, I'm looking at the
see those.
one walker on the one on the right. That one is a medical walker. That one is
mhm.
not just given to her for show. The one on the left I'm not
Yeah.
so sure about. Now whether or not you want to dress up a kid as an old person, I can see why that would put somebody off.
Yeah.
I
Well, and
can
But
too, but there's something I want I
I'm gonna see
like
what this
kind
says.
of want to like maybe entertain is how you can't understand people until you actually walk a mile in their shoes?
yeah.
Yeah,
Like
walk a mile in
something
my walker.
right, but it wouldn't be easy. You know what I mean? It might bring some understanding to some people
Well,
if
I
they
Yeah,
understand what
actually
I don't.
Jen's saying.
I want it very clear. I don't take this on the same level of offense as, somebody doing blackface or that.
Yeah.
But okay, like the
yeah,
other day, somebody was doing a Halloween joke um, with somebody in a wheelchair. Okay, now is that funny? No, that's not. It's awful to be in a wheelchair.
Yeah. Well, and the first picture with Walker, it was clearly made out of PVC pipe, so
Yeah,
it
the
was
side
clearly
by
just
side
a
on.
prop for the costume.
And the one that you said is medical, yes, that is the classic medical, and you can easily cut one of those down to be that dimension.
yeah, because my sister, that was what they tried to use to get for her because they were trying to figure out what would work best for her so that she could walk. because when you have spina bifida and they find out you can be ambulatory or you can walk, they try to get you um, to save that ability to the best of its, basically to be able to get you to keep that ability as best they can. And that is the style of walker that is often tried out on kids that age, that they are trying to figure out what works best. My sister did not do well with the walker. I am not 100% sure why.
Yeah.
They chose to do braces instead. But
One
she
thing.
did have a
Oh, go ahead.
walker at that age. She did have a walker at that age. However, I do kind of find it a little bit iffy just throwing the old person thing on. I can see where that's a problem. It's just that's. I just wanted to point out that I don't think that that was a walker handed for haha laughs. That maybe an adult thought that maybe if they dressed them up as an old person, the walker would be
Yeah.
cute.
Yeah, I can see what Jen's saying, and I can understand why, that could kind of be a slap in the face.
Hmm.
One thing I will say about walkers, that's another observation I made as I became an walker owner. These medically designed Gilbert, I believe, is the name of the brand. The most classic medical walker that you see is one of the most affordable, fairly priced devices I have ever seen in the medical field. They're about $30. You can pick them up on eBay for 30 fucking dollars, and
Yeah.
they last, and they take abuse. I beat the shit out of mine, and it's hanging in there just fine, no matter what I do to it.
And
So do you guys?
also there are also walkers that I have seen that have little basket attachments so
Mm-hmm.
that you don't have to try to keep your stuff and yourself balanced
Yep,
while you're
I got a
on your
basket on
walker.
mine.
And my mom's had a seat on it so that when she got tired out, she
Yeah,
could just sit for a while.
yeah, those
Yeah.
kinds you can get at like Walgreens and stuff like that, and they have a
Mhm.
handbrake because they're all wheeled instead of a sliding arrangement. Um,
Yeah,
and they get about $100 or so for those. But
yeah,
mine, there's you can buy a basket for it. It's like $20, $25. I built a cup holder into my basket
Yeah.
so I can have my coffee.
Yeah, but
I was gonna wire headlights and a grill like like a car, but I never got around to it. And tennis balls. You need if you gotta have a walker, you gotta have tennis balls. You can buy used
yeah.
tennis balls on eBay by the 50 or 100 at a time, and you cut a next on them and make your own walker feet because you don't want to use a walker on linoleum floors; it'll scratch the hell out of them.
Oh, I remember why my sister didn't do well on the walker. She could not navigate the walker and her. It was too much for her motor skills. So they gave
Mm.
her braces instead, much to my chagrin.
hmm
That little girl had no concept of space, and her shoes with her braces, I was always scared of being stepped on. And God help you if you were in her way.
So what do you guys think of family costumes?
Oh, I think they're adorable. I mean, if you're gonna have like a bunch of
What's up,
kids, you
family?
might as well do something similar.
I think I've brought up my favorite family for this on the screen. As you can see, it's Neil Patrick Harris, his husband, and the two kids. They
hmm
they do they did Peter Pan. They did a horror one.
Um,
They went as Charlie Chaplin and Marilyn Monroe, and
Yeah, but they're gay.
so no. The daughter was Marilyn Monroe, which is a little suspect considering, but and then they did this one where they did Star Wars,
Yeah.
and
Well,
they
that's
did
pretty
a
good.
clown, a sideshow family. Let's see what else. Oh, here's a better picture of them for the Star Wars. Tweedledee, Tweedledum, Alice, and the rabbit.
Feed your head.
The March Hare.
March Hare, there we go. And then they went as the Joker, the Riddler, Batman, and Batgirl.
I just
And
think
then
it's a little
there's
bit too cute for my taste.
yeah.
No,
So they
I don't like cutesy shit.
maybe when they're older, they'll do. Is this? Yeah, no. This is one
Oh,
that they did. Maybe this is a little bit more to your liking. She's carrying an axe with blood on it.
No,
I can
it's
understand why
still too
people
cute.
put twins in matching outfits, at least for the first few years of their life and stuff. But
Oh,
you know, when you ever see an older couple like in their 50s and 60s, and they're both wearing matching outfits,
yeah.
that's bizarre.
My
That's up
dad's a
there with
twin.
guys who call their wife mother.
I have this Asian couple that comes into my work occasionally, and they're always matching.
Mm.
Like he'll come in with a brown plaid type um coat, and she'll have the same plaid pattern in her skirt or something. It's adorable, but it's also kind of like I don't know. What's this one?
well, see, I could see, I mean, if I had little kids that I was taking with me to one of my gaming conventions, I could see doing coordinating costumes for that.
Oh, here we go. A mother who had triplets dressing up as Merida and the three brothers.
Maybe it's because I just don't like children.
I was kind of wondering that because yeah, no, you're not really up for kids.
I
I
don't know.
know.
See, I like children. They're pretty tender. They
Oh,
My
they
here we
daughter's
they,
go.
they roast well.
empty
Up there we
calories.
go. Atheist.
No, I really just really do not like children.
What
I
And
like
kids
I
are
them.
don't
you
know why
on tap?
anyone would want any. Just I can't understand it.
I like them for a
Um,
little bit at a time.
Actually, little kids I did fine with. When it got to raising teenagers, I was wondering if survival of the species was really worth it.
Answer no.
So should I try googling sexy Halloween costumes and see what pops up?
You might get some obscene
uh,
things coming up on the screen. So I think that one you would have
yeah.
to stop sharing your screen while you look them up.
Well, I can turn on here. Oh, here, this one. Now, I'm going to assume that these are people who actually have to be in wheelchairs, incorporating them into their costume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
Yep.
completely
Here's
different thing.
here's somebody got as Professor X.
I saw this one story this week of a father who built and on his child's wheelchair a Millennium Falcon all around it.
Hmm.
And so the kid who had his motorized wheelchair was a Millennium Falcon. That
Well,
was pretty cool.
here's a kid with an X-wing an X-wing as his
Yeah.
seat.
Yeah, there was one that was on Facebook just a couple of weeks ago. Um, that this girl, won a costume contest at a comic book convention because she won as Princess Leia, and she had the walker, so she made the walker up as R2D2, so it looked like she was just leaning on the droid.
Oh, that's cool.
And
Here's a
yeah,
kid
it
dressed as
was really
Hiccup.
great, but of course on Facebook, then you've got a whole stream of comments under it that, oh, she only won because she's disabled and they felt sorry for her.
Oh.
And it's like, you fucking assholes. She obviously put a lot of time into that.
Let me see if I can find it.
So I showed Amber what Sloth Girl told you to or what Sloth Girl sent to me through you, perp. Bleh,
Oh.
I know what I think I'm saying. And she didn't like how cheap everything looked, but
Oh yeah,
she
the
was
Target
like,
things. Yeah.
we can do that, can we? And I said, we'd have to find a builder who can work for like food or something, but yeah.
Yeah. If I lived closer to you, I could help you with that. But
Oh,
yeah,
I
no,
have
I
friends who will
just I liked the
exchange things for
idea that
food.
that Target was actually selling these, that they were actually going to be
Hmm.
available to people who might not be able to sew or make up the costumes themselves.
Well, and the other thing too is she needs the ability to get out of the wheelchair as well.
Yeah.
So we'd have
Uh,
to do something where it'd be easy for her to get out
Yep.
because there are times at the con where it is simpler for her to walk than it is to run the wheelchair.
Yeah.
Um,
There we go. There's the Falcon.
there's a couple of them. This one they turned it looks like a wagon.
Yep. Sorry, Trey. I didn't mean to cut you off there.
it's okay.
You know.
I cut everybody off all the time anyway, so
Oh,
not a biggie.
here's a the.
Yeah. No, but
I
I
can't
get what you
find
mean.
I can't find the one that you were talking about.
Yeah, it was one that soft girl had found on Facebook that she had sent to me. I don't have it in my computer though.
Ooh, cool Cadillac hearse.
Yeah, Target actually did something really cool. They've started to sell they have a couple of children's clothing lines that have seamless edges so that if you're overly sensitive to like the seams on your clothing, um they've actually got a clothing line where the seams are flat and they don't mess with um, sensory overload.
Oh, that's
It's
cool.
pretty cool. Yeah,
Yep.
they've been doing it for a couple of years. They also have a couple of lines um, that are specifically for wheelchair users so that it's easier for them to dress themselves. Um, I'm not sure what changes that they made, but I haven't heard a lot of. I've heard mostly positive things. I haven't really heard a lot of like critique or negative things from people about it. So
This is really hard to find. No, you know what gets me about the kids' costumes
what?
is like when they're dressed up as, say, Rapunzel from Tangled, and it's the official merch, right? And they put a pendant on the front of the costume with her picture in it. If you have to put a picture of the character on
Yeah.
the dress, on the costume, maybe you need to design the costume better.
Well, that could be that by having a picture of the character on it, they can claim a full copyright on it.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Do a search for Jimmy Kimmel costume mashup.
okay, let's see how poorly I spelled that.
I apologize in advance if you hear my cat trying to tear apart our room.
He does this thing every year where they take two costumes and they mash it together and try to get audience members to guess what this is now. Um,
Oh.
um,
Oh, see, this is what I was talking about specifically. Like, this is
Yep.
Rapunzel. You don't you there's nothing about it that doesn't say Rapunzel, but they've got the little pendant right in the center with her picture.
Yep.
And I'm
Yep.
like, if
I know
You
what
need
you
to make
mean.
Okay, I
your
think I have
character
an
design
idea
needs
here.
to be.
I think I have an
Diana woke up.
idea. Yeah, I've been okay. That costume design is for people like me, to where the kid comes to the door and I don't have to say, "What are you?" Because I have no idea
But that
what this. I have no idea what this character is. I have no idea what this film is. So there's that little pendant there. Oh, it's got to be a character from some film. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's got to be from some film. Okay, I got you now.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
wasn't that part of the fun of like getting a costume and then having people ask you who you were?
No.
Or like this one here.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know who
Cinderella.
Snow Okay, now you're just being funny. Who doesn't know what Snow White would look like in general? Bright yellow
Well,
dress, blue.
depends on the story you're reading.
Exactly. It doesn't have to be Disney's.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that she is Disney's Snow
Yep.
White. And that's a pretty iconic character considering that was the first movie that they made.
If she's such an iconic character, how come nobody knows her name?
Because they
There
would
you
called her
go.
Snow White.
Yep.
They never
No,
used
that's
her.
not her name.
No,
What is
I'm
her?
saying her name was like Rose Red or
Briar
something
Rose.
like or
Briar Road.
I thought that was
Yep.
Orla. Orla just sent a picture to the Twitter page of a woman in a
Um,
wheelchair.
No,
Briar Rose. Briar Rose, I thought was what they used for.
Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah,
That's Aurora.
no, that was her princess
That's
name.
Sleeping Beauty.
which
Briar
Bri-
Rose.
was all
Briar
about.
Rose. Briar Rose, a pseudonym used by Princess Aurora in Walt Disney's Sleeping Beauty.
Yeah, they called her by a different name because if they called her by Aurora, it would be kind of glaringly obvious that she was the princess.
Let me see.
And of course, the whole Sleeping Beauty thing, that was all about necrophilia, but that's another story.
Thing is, Disney. Well,
Necrophilia is a dying art.
Yes.
Brothers Grimm had a different name for Snow White too.
Oh, I'm not doubting that. I'm just saying Briar Rose was Sleeping
Yeah.
Beauty's name.
Yeah. It was.
Well, it depends on what universe you're.
Well, Disney takes everything and co-opts it, and so they are not the definitive source of whose name is what.
Oh, yeah, that
I
is
would go
true
back to the
too.
original.
Hercules. The only reason we got to watch it in
Good thing I didn't.
in a Latin class was basically we could only watch it if we wrote down 50 things wrong with the movie, and honestly I think we were done in like 10 minutes flat and then just watched the rest of the movie because our teacher had our teacher's rule was you cannot look at a person's paper and copy it, but because that's just copying. But if you yelled out your
Oh, yeah.
answer, well, not yelled, but like spoke out your answers, you were working as a team and working together, and therefore you could get answers from each other that way.
This is the picture that Orla sent.
Yeah.
For anybody who didn't get a chance to see it there.
Oh, Moo.
Is this a friend of yours, Orla?
This is her sister.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
So.
Oops, sorry.
That's cool.
Yep. Anyway, I do have stuff I need to be doing, so I can't
Oh,
sleep in
Orla,
too late
I'm so
tomorrow.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah. Well, I was out of town for, 8 of the last 14 days, so things kind of got backed up. My
Right.
list of things that have to be done by Friday, yeah, well, half of that's not done yet.
Friday's tomorrow.
Yeah, it's the
Friday's
problem.
now.
Yeah.
This week went so fast.
So I need to start wrapping this up. And as far as plugging things, for anyone who didn't see it, I actually did get a new video up. So it's not a typical Halloween story, it's a historical piece that just happened to be an event that happened on Halloween. So anybody else have something they want to plug?
I am
Well,
dropping the link for my GoFundMe in the chat.
Yep, go right ahead.
I was able to pay the bill, but now I do not have money for the rest of my other bills.
Okay, so you still
So
need a bit of help this
please,
month.
yeah, still need a bit of help. Basically, because I paid the bill, I have the 135 that's been donated minus whatever fees, which is minimal, and then like $5 in my bank account. That's not gonna last me 2 weeks. So help please, and thank you.
Do you have a link somewhere for that?
I'm working
Okay.
on it. I sometimes struggle with getting a link and talking at the same time. Also, I have
Yeah.
20 tabs open.
Hi,
So
IQ.
You think 20 tabs is bad? I just looked at my boyfriend's computer, and he's got 200 tabs open on his browser.
Well, that just slows your computer down. So
yeah,
I know. I'm like, I don't understand why you do this. Close some of that shit.
that
Ow!
I have
and that
something to
drives
plug.
me nuts on mine. If I've got more than like 3 or 4 tabs open, it bothers me. It really
My
annoys me.
You don't really annoys me. My brother and sister-in-law who always complain about how slow their computers get, but then they have every application they've opened in the last 6 months still open. They
Yep.
don't quit anything.
Stop it! You're ripping my shirt.
I have something to announce. Um, our dear favorite Jen's Little Corner and I are entering a collab, and we are going to be doing a series of shows on transgender issue, and we're going to be floating to different hosts channels because neither of us have the equipment to do it properly. Our first one looks like it's going to be with Shannon Q, and I'm not going to release lots of details right now because it's still all fluid. But it looks like we're going to have a well-known published author as our guest, who we will be interviewing on and discussing with transgender children and children's issues and things like
Ah,
that. Um, it's really neat because we're going to be advertising on her channel or her Twitter,
mm-hmm.
and she's got 50,000 viewers
Yeah.
of her stuff. And golly, we could have quite the audience.
And you could get quite a surge in new subscribers for your channel that way too.
Yep. So as details become available, I will certainly share them. But I just wanted to give you the prelim that it's looking good, like this is actually going to happen.
Oh, excellent.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
whenever you have a set date or that, you can always drop a link in here.
I appreciate that very much.
And I am going back to the regular Sunday noon for Coffee with Lavender. It was really interesting. I put a poll to Twitter asking, do you guys prefer 1,200 hours or 1,300 hours? And 1,300 hour, 1,200 hours took off like wildfire at first until it settled down, and by the end of the poll, they were running 50%, 10 votes, 10 votes, and it was like, okay. So I went back to the old time because that's pretty much what everybody knew. I
Well,
had
to be
moved it.
fair, half of the Americans voted for 1200 because they didn't have a clock that went to 13.
Okay. Oh my! If you guys
So mean.
remember that, if you guys remember that stupid song from that stupid Bobby Goldsboro, what was it? Mickey Mouse says it's 13 o'clock. Well, that's quite a shock, but that's my boy. Hey, asshole! That's the hour afternoon.
Yep.
Anyway, this time around, we're just gonna have some fun. Complaining about daylight saving time,
Uh,
and
Yeah.
yeah, anybody who wants to come on panel and complain about daylight saving time, drop me a line.
I'll be there.
All
Yeah.
right.
That means that next week it'll be getting dark here at about 4:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I do not like. I'm not doing any spoilers here. I mean,
Yep.
if you've ever heard of me, you know that I suffer from or no, not suffer from. I suffer uh, seasonal affective disorder, and when it starts getting dark at 16:30 hours or something like that, oh, it's a wreck on the psyche.
Yep.
It's a real pain in the butt. I'm pretty much crap from November through April.
Well, and for me, that I tend to be up at night anyway. So when it's getting dark that early, I'm not getting more than 3 or 4 hours of daylight.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, if you wanted to stop by Coffee with Lavender at my wonderful little channel, and maybe I'll have some
Yep.
more of the channel artwork done. I don't know. We'll see what we can do about that. And
Diana, do you recall when Bush 2 changed the date which when we start? Um,
oh my, I don't remember.
do you remember his reasons why?
No, I don't.
Oh,
Unfortunately.
you might want to research that. It'll raise your ire another 20 points.
Yep.
Okay, we can do that. Um, yeah, I do know that many of the things that were put forward in defense of daylight saving time were absolute myths.
Yep.
Um, but
Most of it, most people don't really know where it came from.
or most people don't know who did and didn't like daylight saving time. That's another interesting thing for you. Um, okay, so let's see. I'm trying to remember the name of that act. Was it the Uniform Time Act?
Uh,
Uh,
Yeah, it really screws me up here because I'm in a strange zone that
oh
is
no,
for
this is this where we lose an hour or gain an hour? I can never keep it straight.
spring ahead, fall
it's a
back.
it's a it's a 25-hour day.
yep.
So that just means I get an extra hour of sleep.
Yep. Spring
So
ahead,
they
fall
say.
back.
No,
It's
actually,
the one you lost in the spring
Yep.
in the 23-hour day.
hmm
I just came across the tweet I got to share. Somebody, I don't know who they are. Her name's Ashley, and it says, "We were told that we could dress up at work for Halloween. Since we could dress up, I decided to dress up as an employee from another fast food chain. It was a great shift."
Oh, jeez.
Hmm.
Okay, I'm gonna have to really, really do some because the standard keywords just aren't working.
You're hurting me.
You're being a poopy kitty.
You is loved.
I don't do military time, by the way.
Always find
Do you do German railway time?
No, I don't do that either.
I have a difficulty with military time as well, but I've always just found that if you take off 2, that's the hour.
Oh
So
no,
if you
No,
go 22,
I absolutely refuse.
oh. Well, what was
Sarah.
that? Oh no, Jen?
Sarah Michael just got suspended from Twitter again.
Again?
Yeah.
No comment.
It's Twitter.
It's Sarah Michelle. Like I don't I mean, I no disrespect towards her, like cuz I actually kind of like her, but like there are things that you will say that will get you in trouble and you say them anyways. If you want to be on Twitter, follow the rules.
Oh,
Yeah.
I agree with you completely on that. After having just been suspended myself, um, but she does have a group of these nasty turf people that gang up on her purposely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right, but they
she
can't.
ganged up on me, so I don't like her. I really just don't like her. I don't like how she treated me. I don't like anything like that. I just no. Just
I
no.
I I
And
find
she called
myself
it being charitable. So she
I
can just no.
I find myself being in the middle of so many of these personality conflicts that happen on Twitter.
Me too.
You know, I mean, I was in the
Yeah.
middle of that thing with you, Faye. I saw it happening, and I like you.
Do you know what
I
do you know what I went through that day?
no, I
I have
don't.
a 32-year-old friend with a 2-year-old daughter, and that morning I found out that the doctor recommended hospice for something that they did to him.
Oh, jeez.
He was fine. They gave him a test, and he went through total organ failure. They can't make all his guts work, and they're recommending hospice. He
Wow.
can't breathe on his own. So when I said to everybody, leave me alone, I can't handle this right now, and for her to be going, pile on Faye, and calling it charity, I'm sorry. I don't care what happens to her. I really don't. When someone
Yeah.
says, I've had enough, you need to back off. If not, like someone draws a boundary and you can't respect that, that's your freaking problem. And from that point on, everything that happens from that point is her ownership.
I the point I was going to try to make though is that like I know you, I like you, I don't want to not have you as my friend online,
I
and I
don't care
feel
who you're friends with. I'm fine with
and I
it.
feel the same with her, and so
Hmm.
I don't want to say anything to either of you and just let it happen.
Yeah.
What's going to happen?
Oh, yeah.
It's
I
not.
just want to be completely clear about how I feel about some things. The rest of you, you can be totally friends with her. It's totally fine. You can care about her, everything. I just don't care. That person just is not a human being in my book. What she did to me that day was ridiculous and cruel, and I just hate her. I hate her.
Well, I can certainly see why you'd feel that way.
Well, for the most part, I stay off the public areas of Twitter, so
And
I don't
you
even
know
see
me,
most of these things when they happen.
I usually don't use people's names when I'm talking about them, especially on YouTube. And I don't even care if she reacts because I will never see the video. I hate her.
Okay. Well,
I try not to hate anybody but the enemy,
Yeah, you know what?
and we all know who the right wingers are.
Someone who acts that way and treats another human being that way, to me, is an enemy. My
Yeah, well,
enemy.
I'm not trying to say how you should feel. I just want
Yeah.
that clear. which is now
I do
why I don't
hate
get in the middle of these things. 'Cause
I do hate exceptionally well, and once someone is actually put in that category, they don't have a snowball's chance in hell getting out of there. I don't
Okay.
forgive people. I wasn't raised a Christian, and I'm not familiar with it. I'm not doing it.
I do need to break off the stream here, so does
Okay.
anyone have any last words before I disconnect from YouTube?
No, I'm good.
Okay, well, thanks everybody for coming.
Thanks for
Yay.
having me.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Bye
yeah,
bye.
yeah, yeah.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Faye, I just want to say I